Good evening, race fans, and welcome along to round 6 of season 15 of the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge, as we've had a big off in qualifying as Brandon Wilson has rearranged the front end on the Hyperion Racing BMW here in the latter stages, the last third of the 5-minute qualifying session here for the GTPs. And welcome also to the viewers on the JP Broadcasting Network. Along with this being round 6 of the overall championship, it is the halfway point of the Autobahn Endurance Challenge, which means here at the famed America's National Park of Speed, Road America, just off Highway 67 in Sheboygan County in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, pitched just halfway between Milwaukee and Green Bay. This circuit is going to have a 1.5 hour, that's 90 minutes of racing in multi-class. Hello everybody, my name's Alex Goldschmidt. I'm going to be joined in the booth tonight as always by Chris Murphy. But more to the point, we are in the latter stages of qualifying. We'll take you through qualifying a little bit later on, but first of all, we want to get through the relevant bits of housekeeping, which is updating you about the points after what happened on November the 24th in Long Beach. So, Pat Pelchat leads on 151 points in the GTP class ahead of Harrison Higgins. Dominic Dernberg rounds out your top three, 4 points adrift of Higgins in the top three in the GTP standings, with Brandon Wilson, who has secured 3 pole positions. He could get number 4 very shortly. He rounds out your top 5. Jimbo Pfeiffer, Jordan Martin, and Billy Smith round out the top 8. In terms of LMP2, it's a big lead, 47 points between Kadin Richardson and Matthew Denise. Then we've got Robert Tinsey, Mo Islam, Kevin Santana, Walker Carroll, Matt Brewer, Justin the Great, and Alan Aguilar rounding out your 9 strong in the LMP2 running so far. Brian Bennett now moves up from GTD AM to GTD. So the Sector 5 McLaren leads the standings by just a mere 9 points ahead of the Mustang of Carter Cundinger, with Bradley Haley rounding out a Mustang 2-3 in the GTD standings. Robert Cast, new livery for this week for the number 42 Aston Martin. He is just ahead of Jason Kinger, with Eric Staropoli and Adam Satterfield rounding out the field that has scored points so far. Paul Slavonic, as a result of Brian Bennett's promotion, now is the leader in GTD AM, 37 points ahead of David Fernandez, who is 4 points ahead of countryman Samuel de Oliveira, who has just picked up pole in GTD AM here at round 6. Dale Green, Chris Sherburn, Mark Kudrowski, Rich Minkler, Joshua Wolf, Sheldon Rosenbaum, Paul Lindsay, Shane Hunter, Alex Bentley Dean, and Lyndon Swaby round out your point scorers in GTEM. Fury Sim Sport have a slender lead of 15 points ahead of Solpac Precision Racing in the Autobahn Team Championship, presented by Haley Agency. Composite Performance rounds out your top 3 with Sector 5 Black, provided by Haley Agency, and Satellite Racing bringing up the rear in the Autobahn Team Championship, presented by Haley Agency. Next up, we go to the standings. We have already had 1 round of the Autobahn Endurance Cup so far. Pat Pelchat leads ahead of Dominic Dernberg, Harrison Higgins, Jimbo Pfeiffer, and Nathan Dowd. The opening round was at the beginning of the season back in late September at Daytona International Speedway. Gideon Richardson leads in LMP2 ahead of Justin the Great, with Matthew Denise and Kevin Santana rounding out the top 4. Brian Bennett leads in GTD ahead of Bradley Haley and Carter Cundinger. Paul Slavonic leads in GTD AM ahead of Fernandez, Kudrowski, Wolf, Hunter, De Oliveira, Sherburn, Minkler, Green, Bentley Dean, Lindsay, and Rosenbaum, with 3rd to 12th tied on 42 points apiece. And with that in mind, we now head trackside here at America's National Park of Speed. And let's welcome in Chris Murphy. Chris, great to be back with you in the booth once again. And the iconic setting of Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin is going to bring us to a 90-minute slobber knocker here tonight, in the words of Jim Ross.
Very excited to be here with you again, Alex. And the great thing about it being the second round of the endurance, it's an extra 30 minutes I get to spend with my friend Alex tonight. This is going to be just an exciting race. Looking for, the GTB has been Brandon Wilson, Pat Pelchat show, and it looks like they're 1-2 right now here in qualifying. So I'm not expecting that to change. They have put on some exciting races ever since about the second week of the season. So this is going to be another fun one tonight. Ready to go.
Yes, indeed. So, of course, with the car class settings, No BOPs for any of the vehicles in all of the respective classes. Fuel limits are as follows: GTP 80%, LMP2 90%, GTD and GTD AM 67%. So there is an incident limit in effect, and your first incident limit will be at 20x incident points, and then further incidents will result in a drive-through penalty for every 5x after the 20. And obviously the start procedure, the green flag will set the GTPs off into motion. Then the LMP2s will be required to start with the GTPs. The leaders for GTD will not go on green, but they will need to begin their acceleration where the hole in the pit, the divider appears, and that's going to be in the pit divider wall on the right-hand side of the start-finish straight. And if the pole sitter has not accelerated by the start-finish line, the race is considered started and passes for position may commence. So the pole sitter for GTD will have to provide a 5-second gap between classes during the pace lap as measured by the relative. But we are at the checkered flag here in qualifying, and Brandon Wilson in the GTP classification in the number 4 Hyperion BMW MV8 Hybrid has just scored his 4th position, his 4th pole this series so far. That's a great strike rate, but it hasn't always, for the man for Hyperion Racing, Chris, converted into the W.
It has not, and Pelchat and Wilson only separated by 1/100th of a second right here at qualifying. But you're right, Wilson has not translated all those over to wins, but he's looked pretty strong here right now. But it is going to be a battle. You look at Wilson and Pelchat, like I said, only about 13 thousandths of a second away from each other, and then it's back to Martin about almost 2/10 back. So we're gonna have to see how this pace shakes out and see if they can maintain it for a good 90 minutes.
Yeah, a couple of developments since Long Beach a couple of weeks ago. Slavonic, as I said now, because of Brian Bennett's promotion in the Sector 5 McLaren to GTD, now leads the AMS. New livery for Robert Carson, the 42 Aston Martin. Also, we've got a newbie on the GTD scene in the number 03 Mercedes. Ross Booth has joined the grid. We've also got Jordan Martin returning in GTP in the number 98 sister BMW to Brandon Wilson for Hyperion Racing. So there's been a lot happening. Also, there was a post-race drive-through at Long Beach for Carter Kundiger, and he basically tracked into the side of David Fernandez and caused hell. And then he's put an apology in the Discord for not throwing the caution because it was a big incident, and it actually meant that Carter didn't really get a good run at Long Beach. Walker Carroll in LMP2 actually got a post-race 5-second penalty for the contact with Mo Islam. And then the biggest penalty of the night was a post-race penalty for a certain Mr. Higgins in the GTD AM side of things. And that would have been the case of, well, no, Higgins, just trying to remember which, Harrison Higgins in GTP. He collected Samuel de Oliveira, but we're going to take you through our starting grid as we are T-minus 4 minutes until we get ready to go racing. So we'll look from the top part of the side of things. So looking at GTP first, starting on pole position for the 4th time this season, Brandon Wilson. And GTP class leader here coming into round 6 after Long Beach, Powell Pelchat will be alongside for Solpec Precision Racing in the number 919963 Porsche. Jordan Martin and Harrison Higgins will line up on row 2. Nathan Dowd and Dominic Dernberg will be on row 3 with Jimbo Pfeiffer bringing up the rear of the field. Walker Carroll takes pole in LMP2 for this round of the series ahead of Matt Brewer. With Robert Tinsey and Kadin Richardson, the leader in the LMP2 class, rounding out row number 2. We've got 6 LMP2 cars on the grid here for Road America. Mo Islam for Composite Performances and Mathieu Denis for Solpec Precision Racing round out your LMP2 running order. And it's a pole position for the number 42 Aston Martin of Fury Sim Sports Robert Cast. And bearing in mind, his last pole position was at Mosport 2 rounds ago. He also took the pole at Road Atlanta. He will have Carter Kundinger alongside him on the front row GTDs with Bradley Haley, Jason Kinger, Brian Bennett, and Ross Booth, the Canadian who did not set a lap time in qualifying, rounding out your GTD field. Samuel de Oliveira, one of two Portuguese drivers on this field, leads the way in the number 522 Mustang from pole position ahead of current series leader Paul Slavonic, who a couple of rounds ago moved to the Acura from the Porsche. Robert Cast did the same, moving from, I think it was the Mercedes to the Aston Martin, if memory serves me correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, Chris, in a minute.
Your memory's better than mine.
Yeah, well, there we go. David Fernandez and Mark Kudrowski ran at row 2, so two Portuguese drivers in the top 3. Chris Sherburne and Dale Green round out row 3. Rich Minkler and Sheldon Rosenbaum round out your last row on the grid here at Road America. And more to the point, Road America, we know that why it's called America's National Park of Speed, because it is fast, it is technical, it's lots of overtaking opportunities, especially coming out of Bill Mitchell Bend, going through into turn 14 onto the Road America straight, where you got that unusual raise up towards the start finish straight, very much like the next round that we've got, because this is the last round before we have our holiday break for Christmas and New Year. And funny enough, the next track we go to, the Autodromo Internacional do Algarve in Portimao, has exactly the same characteristic
Can you say that?
coming out
Can
of the
you say that
final
again
corner.
for me? I'm sorry to cut you off there,
The
but
Autodromo Internacional do Algarve.
I just want to hear you say that.
Because
That'll put me to sleep. Can I record that for my bedtime story?
that's my motorsport lullaby, sending people to sleep by saying the whole name of the circuit, but Portimao in other words, and that's going to be home soil for De Oliveira and Fernandez, because that's their locality. But one of the good things that we're going to see here tonight, Chris, is plenty of action. We do know that Road America does provide plenty of thrills and spills. And of course, there is one man that we do need to name check, the person that has the overall fastest recorded lap around this circuit, a man who is very much in the hearts and minds of everybody at the moment, has been for a number of years, ran in IndyCar, ran in DTM, ran in sports cars, ran in Formula One, of course, Alex Zanardi. But what are you looking forward to most about this circuit here, Chris? Because Road America always provides that real good test for any driver, and it's a track that a lot of drivers do like. I mean, we did speak to Pat Pelchat, and he said, "I'm not exactly 100% confident, but I'll give it my best."
Well, we're gonna see who can carry that speed off of that last corner of 14 down into turn number 1. And if you can keep enough speed through 1 and all the way, I don't, why do they call that a turn in turn 2? It's like barely a bend in the racetrack. But if you can carry that speed through 1 and 3 and then get down to that Moraine the Moraine sweep down there, and have that speed, you can make a good move into 5, that really hard left-hander. And I think we're gonna see a lot of passes there today. And as we talked, me and you were talking about pre-show, well, we're also going to see a lot of action during in that carousel, because you got that really hard, tight corner, turn number 8, before you get into that carousel of 9 and 10. And if again, you got to carry that speed through there, and I think we could see some good side-by-side racing through there.
Yeah, I think also going through into through the kink at turn 11, after the carousel at turns 9 and 10. You've got that really long backstretch run through Kettle Bottoms into Canada Corner, and then up the hill through Thunder Valley into Bill Mitchell Bend. That's really going to put everyone on notice, as the Porsche pace car leads the field, led by Brandon Wilson, who's going to start round number 6 of the 15th season of the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge. It is also round number 2, the halfway point of the Autobahn Endurance Cup. So when we do, we will have 4 rounds of the Autobahn Endurance Cup. The next one will be on March 2nd at Sebring International Raceway. And then, of course, the final round will curtail with the final round out of 14 for season 15 of the Autobahn Sports Car Challenge, where we head to the Ardennes Forest. And of course, the location that normally will host the likes of the Belgian Formula One Grand Prix, the 6 hours of Spa-Francorchamps for the World Endurance Championship, and of course for the GT World Challenge Europe powered by AWS, and the Intercontinental GT Challenge powered by Pirelli, is the 24 hours of Spa-Francorchamps, sponsored its title sponsor, no surprise, CrowdStrike. But this is where getting your tyres and your brakes warmed up are a big key point of getting everything ready on the cars here to go at Road America, because it's as soon as we go green, it's hammer down and keep on trucking, so to speak.
Yeah, I've seen that debate back and forth online. Does the swerving in iRacing really warm the tires up? I thought I've seen it back and forth. Some people say they disproved that it doesn't make any difference, but if it makes you feel better, right, it makes you feel like the car is going to perform better. You might as well get the tires warmed up on these things.
Yep. And there you see Robert Cast with his brand new Fury SimSport livery here for round 6 of the series. And well, actually, that looks like a different one. GT Dynamics, yeah, that's a team that I know of through the Sim Racing Republic GT Open that is going to have its next round this coming weekend at the Nürburgring. And they normally do run GT Dynamics do normally run Mercedes, but look, Pat Pelchat and Brandon Wilson, they are not letting each other out of their own sights, because that's going to be quite interesting. I think the thing is that Wilson's going to try and bolt for it, but Pelchat, if he does decide to brave it around the outside and throw the Hail Mary into turn 1, he's got to do it with full conviction.
Yeah, it's who can get to the bottom, getting into that first corner. We've seen Wilson be very strong on these starts, starting from the pole. But if Pelchak can just anticipate that start at the line and get that inside line going to turn number 1, we might see Pelchak lead at least the first lap of this race. But do not expect Wilson to give that up easily.
Yeah, and Jordan Martin, Wilson's teammate from Hyperion Racing, could really again showcase. We've seen Jordan Martin. My apologies there, Jordan. My bad. It's quite early in the morning where I am at the moment. It's coming up
I
to
don't think
quarter
they're
to
brothers,
3.
just teammates.
No, just teammates. Jordan. Yeah, so Jordan Martin. I mean, we've seen the pace that Brandon Wilson is really showcased so far this season in the GTP side of things. Let's not forget that Brandon is actually a race behind. He's had 2 wins so far this season. Round 2 at Road Atlanta, and last time out at Long Beach. He was 5th at Mobility Resort Motegi at round 3, and Mosport he rounded out the top 2 behind Pat Pelchat. As there we have Barney, the flag-waving marshal, on the start-finish straight. The pace car now peels into pit lane. We are ready to go to green here at round 6 of the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge, and round 2, the halfway point of the Autobahn Endurance Cup here at America's National Park of Speed. The GTPs and the LMP2s now in formation as Brandon Wilson puts the hammer down. Jordan Martin goes with him, and we are green here at Road America. And there is Robert Cast leading the GTDs and the GTD Anfields. They come up over the rise, and they will go to green very shortly. Brandon Wilson leading the way. Pat Pelchat now into P2. Battle for the 4th and 5th as Robert Cast drops the hammer in the Aston Martin. Foot to the floor, as we now might have Jason Kinger in the 412 Porsche looking up the inside of Carter Kundinger. But at this point, Bradley Haley trying to get through on the number 412 Porsche as they go down into turn 3. Kundiger to the inside, shows his nose to Robert Cast as Bradley Haley round the outside at 3 might get the run down into turn 4, but there's dramas in the background. Jordan Martin is around at turn 5.
Martin off the track right there. We just caught a glimpse of it. We'll see if we can go back and catch a replay of it here in a second. But we were trying to catch that GTD start and a little bit of action up here in the front with Martin. We'll jump back here real quick and take a look to see what happened. And unfortunately, it didn't rewind far enough, did it? So I don't like to rewind on live time, but whatever we got here.
Well, I think, look, he's lost it on the rotation, and then bang, he gets a punt from Dominic Dernberg, I think that was, or was that Harrison Higgins? But again, I think it was Dornberg that hit the back end when Jordan Martin over-rotated. I think he just got on the throttle a little bit too early, and he has got to go into pit road because he has got a mechanical black flag. So the number 98, who has only been with us for 1 round this season, let's just have a look. Just thinking, he was with us at Mosport, but Robert Cast, and look at the run that Carter Cunningham, that 5.4 litre growling, snarling, thundering Ford Mustang. GTD behind him, Cundinger to the inside and gets through. That's a great move by Carter Cundinger in the number 02 Mustang. And look at this, Jason Kinger making it 3 marks in the top 3 in GTD. Cundinger leads the way in the Mustang, Cast in the Aston Martin, and Kinger in the Porsche. This is a great battle in the early stages of this race as they are coming through out of the final corner. Up the hill they will go onto the road. Yeah, onto the Road America straight. But Cundinger, that was timed perfectly by the 02. He pulls to the right-hand side. Robert Cast, do not try and think of maybe throwing the Hail Mary, doing the old Slim Shady around the outside at turn 1. No, he slots back in behind the Mustang. And at this point, a great battle here in GTD. Oliveira leads the way ahead of Slavonic. Kudrowski now through on Fernandez and GTD Yam, and they round out your top 3 at the moment. So GTD has absolutely lit the fireworks ablaze here at Road America here, Chris. A great run by Carter Cundinger. Got the overspeed on Robert Cast and used the sheer grunt and the ferocity of that Mustang GTD to get through on Robert Cast. Great move.
Yeah, I expected the Mustang to have a good power down these long straightaways here at Road America. Cundinger with a great move to get by Cast. Cast took that pole there in qualifying, but Cundinger is not going to be denied as they're swapping positions back and forth. They better take a look here again. They're still side by side.
Oh, this is really getting a bit close, up close and personal. The Porsche is going to be really good in the twisty stuff, but this is why this circuit is called America's National Park of Speed. When you got two absolute leviathans of GT3 pedigree in the form of the Ford Mustang and the Aston Martin V8 Vantage as they go through in towards, I think that's the carousel now, possibly, but you can just see, we're going to get a look here. There's Carter Cundinger just doing a really, really good job. He's now expanding that gap. It's up to 0.4 of a second. And then it's going to be the run down here out of the kink, down Kettle Bottoms at breakneck speed at over 150 plus miles an hour. And then it's going to be the sweeping right through Canada Corner and then up Thunder Valley. It's a bit of a deceptive incline upwards through into Bill Mitchell Bend here at turn 13, but Carter Cundinger making the back end, the rear haunches of that Mustang as wide as humanly possible as he comes out of the final corner. Cast is going to get the slipstream though, coming out of turn number 14 down the Road America straightaway once again, and this battle is absolutely exploding with intensity. Also, the battle for the race lead in LMP2, Matt Brewer and Walker Carroll are trading places, and Matt Brewer is now ahead. They're side by side coming out of turn 5. This is going to be very, very careful, going underneath the Corvette bridge into 6. And is that going to be, that's Matt Brewer that leads the way for Hyperion Racing, it looks like, and Walker Carroll for Fury Simsport in the number 9 car, rounding out your top 2. Good show by Robert Tinsey in the Satellite Racing, or the Muradness back car, of course. Daniel Morad, Canadian Works driver for Mercedes AMG in their sports car program. Very much an avid sim racer in his own right. So Satellite Racing, Robert Tinsey doing a good job. Cadin Richardson, the series leader in the LMP2 class, rounds out your top 4. He's about half a second ahead of Mo Islam, but it's a bit of a difficult one for Mathieu Denis in the number 617, the Canadian. He's all the way down in 6th position. As Cadin Richardson's had an off track. Cadin Richardson has just dropped the ball and has dropped down behind Mo Islam. And then, well, Cadin Richardson bringing gravel onto the circuit, and Mathieu Denis went, thank you very much. I will take that every single day of the week.
We look back or see what happened to Richardson. This time it rewound far enough for us, so. But looks like he's all by himself right here, so whatever it is self-inflicted. Just gets in the corner a little too deep, breaks the back of the car around, tries to chase it out. Just a little soft contact with that tire barrier through the sand. May have not done too much damage, but that's our point leader right there. He's got to get gathered up, and he threw a lot of gravel on a racetrack right there.
Yeah, and there's Mathieu Denis just not needing a second invitation, just slides on by and gets through. So Cadin Richardson finds himself at the back end of the order. Meantime, Brandon Wilson has got a lead over Pat Pelchat of about 1.2 seconds as he really is throwing the car around the circuit. Meantime, here is the battle for GTD AM. I mean, there's Bradley. I think that Bradley Haley, I think, just ahead of
right ahead of Oliveira there.
Oliveira.
Yep.
Yeah, De Oliveira, and there is Paul Slavonic, who last time out at Long Beach switched from the Porsche to the Acura. It seems like the Acura is being a little bit more fruitful for the man in the number 528. So Paul Slavonic doing a really good job keeping with De Oliveira.
Looks like
So
Richardson may have
it's
had
just,
another off as well. For keep an eye on that.
oh dear. Yeah, and Jordan Martin has got big time damage to that BMW. He has been on his marks in pit road for over 4.5 minutes. Now, in terms of top speeds, GTPs, I'm seeing Harrison Higgins has just recorded the highest speed in the through the speed trap at the moment, 196.3 miles an hour. Then in LMP2s, we're looking at about 176 by Robert Tinsey. GTDs, we're looking at about 166. Same for 168.3 for Paul Slavonic in the Acura NSX. GT3 currently running P2. De Oliveira running at about 167 miles an hour through the speed trap, but Dominic Dernberg has got Fury Simsports Harrison Higgins closing in on his rear diffuser very, very quickly. Pat Palchat, in the meantime, has got the fastest lap of the race overall in a 1:48.492. Mathieu Denis, well, I'm just having a look at the best laps in the LMP2 class, and that has been equalled. Kadeen Richardson and Robert Tinsey both have done a 54.404 in GTD. That mantle goes to Carter Kundiger on a 2-minute 2.246, and Paul Slavonic 2:03.177 in the 5:28 Acuras. We ride on board with our third place man in the LMP2 division, Satellite Racing's Robert Tinsey in the 82, and it's very, very close between the top three in LMP2 at the moment here, Chris, because from Brewer to Carroll to Tinsey, it's about a second. As you can see, a lot of gravel being flown back from the rear diffuser of Walker Carroll's number 9 entry.
Yeah, Brewer, Carroll, and Tinsey right on top of each other right here. Less than about 0.6 of a second to separate the three of them. Brewer putting up some good pace right here, but he is not shaking that Fury Simsports of Walker Carroll. He is all over the back of him. Just a little mistake here, and Carroll is going to drive by, but Tinsey also putting on a good show here, hanging on to this battle as well.
Yeah, and currently at the moment, well, in terms of the track and air temperature, it's just shy of, it's 18.8 degrees Celsius, so we're probably looking at around about 70 Fahrenheit. As look at the run that Harrison Higgins has got on Dominic Dernberg from Composite Performances in the Acura 06, and now to the inside goes Higgins. He's got the inside line here at turn 1, but Dernberg's going to continue to fight it down the hill through 2 and into 3, but Harrison Higgins, will he complete the move going into the Moraine sweep? No, Dernberg still keeps side by side, wheel to wheel. He noses ahead by about a car length. And Dominic Dernberg in that Acura is giving the Fury Simsport Porsche 963 Hybrid of Harrison Higgins a big, big problem at the moment as they go down into 5. Dernberg with the inside line. The Acura retains 4th place at the moment, but look at the overspeed coming out of T5. Higgins is going to throw it underneath the Corvette bridge into 6. He's still going to try and keep it there, but no. Dernberg holds the position as they head into the hurry downs.
Fantastic race. That's what I love about covering these races with you on this Autobahn. These guys just put on one heck of a show. There's battles going on all the way throughout the field. We're trying to bring as much action as we can, but we can't see it all at one time. But just some fantastic racing right there from Dornberg and Higgins side by side all the way through about half the racetrack right there.
Yeah, that was a pretty good display of Harrison Higgins. Had the move, had the slipstream coming down the Road America straight out of turn 14. Threw it up the inside at turn 1, and the good thing was Dernberg gave him enough racing room. In the meantime, Carter Cunningham now has started to pull away in the Ford Mustang ahead of Robert Cast, who's about 5.5 tenths of a second behind. Jason Kinger in the number 412 Porsche rounds out your top 3. He's being reeled in by the 428 Ford Mustang of Bradley Haley, who's got Brian Bennett, newly promoted from GTD AM to GTD for this round and beyond. There is a big old battle happening there. Well, actually, Brian Bennett is actually quite a way adrift. I apologise there. There's Brian Bennett. Now, who's he got in front of him? That is a Porsche.
Is Kudrowski?
I'm just looking at the number. Kudrowski, yeah, so that'll be the 00. That's a bright livery on Kudrowski's car. It kind of reminds me of the Braun GP001 car that took Jenson Button to his Formula One world title back in 2009, with his teammate Rubens Barrichello being his chief rival, and it was in the It was the phoenix that rose from the ashes of Honda Racing back in Formula One before they returned with McLaren in 2015 in the hybrid era of Formula One before then moving on to Red Bull Racing and having a lot of success with four-time Formula One world champion Max Verstappen, who had the number one on his car for for 5 years pretty much, until I can say it now. Lando Norris will be running the number one in 2025 for the MasterCard McLaren Formula One team. MasterCard now being their new title sponsor. But look at this battle here. We have got some real interclass GTD and GTD AM jocularity happening here at the circuit, but there is Jason King, and now is that Samuel de Oliveira closing in on Bradley Haley? I think it is, because you've got Paul Slavonic not too far behind, about 0.6 of a second off in P2 in the GTD AM. So we have got so many battles happening up and down the order, and we're nearly 13 minutes in. These first 7 laps, Chris, have really flown by.
Yeah, 90 minutes to go. I'm just trying to keep up with the battles on the racetrack here. We look at Dornberg and Higgins going at it one more time. Dornberg get a little bit of a separation. Higgins closing in, but there are just all over the racetrack. I'm looking at the timing and scoring, and we've got just on top of each other. But Wilson to Pelchat. Now, Pelchat's kind of reeled Wilson, and he had dropped back by almost a couple of seconds. So we might have a battle for the lead as they're catching up some traffic right here. You can see Slavonic and Oliveira right there in front of this group.
Oh, and there's the battle. Bradley Haley up the inside of Jason King into turn 5, and here comes Wilson. He's got to get through on these drivers. They've got a left-hander coming up, and they're going to have to keep their... Jason Kinger was so lucky he did not have Brandon Wilson barreling into the back of him in the BMW, and now through in towards turn 8. What negotiation by Brandon Wilson in the Hyperion Racing number 4 BMW V8 Hybrid. There's been problems for Pelchat. He's been caught up in the middle of all of that, trying to negotiate the traffic, and that has dropped him all the way down to P5.
Go back and see what happened. Something must have got tangled up in one of those GTD cars here. He's on the inside. Looks like Oliveira outside on the outside. Oh, he caught that curb up on the outside, a little bit of grass. Oh, unfortunate. Oliveira got into that left rear, or excuse me, the right rear quarter of Pelchat and sent him around. So unfortunate, some damage there as well. So that may take Pelchat out of this battle here today.
I think in some respects, you could see that de Oliveira was just trying to give Pelchat the room. You could see that he was turning in early. And Pelchat, well, they do say and there's more dramas. There's Brian Bennett into the barriers. Oh no, and that was with Mark Kudrowski he's just had contact with. Oh, welcome to GTD, Brian, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Bennett was doing everything he could to kind of hang on to the pace. He'd fallen back of the rest of the GTD cars. He was in the middle of the mix with his GTD M's. Let's see if we can see what happened here. So he gets kind of off on the gravel, comes back on the racetrack.
Yeah. And look, Kudrowski, he's looking to go, and
a little bit of netcode there, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a little bit of netcode involved, but even with netcode, the thing is the overlap was going to happen anyway, and I think even without the netcode, that Kudrowski would have been into the right rear quarter panel of Brian at that point, to be honest with you. But I think in some respects, maybe Pat could have. I'm going to call a 50-50. That's what our learned friend Mr. Parfitt would say. Well, if you're going to sit on the fence, you're going to get splinters in your backside. Well, I mean, the thing is that Pat could have maybe. I mean, obviously, yes, he was chasing after Brandon, but you've got to look at it from both perspectives. That de Oliveira was turning into the racing line early, so he was trying to give Pelchat the biggest amount of room. So it may have been just one and 500 of the other on that, but we'll leave that to race control post-race as to what gets decided, because that's a difficult one to call. We do know the unwritten rule of sports cars, you and I, Chris, that if you are the slower car, you stay on the racing line, and it is down to the faster vehicle closing in on you that has to make the move safely. So I don't know how race control will interpret that, but it's not there's a bitter pill for Pat Pelchat to swallow, who's quite lucky he got away with that as he did, because he's now going to have the fire stoked in the belly as he's going to fly past with next to no no room given for Carter Kundiger, who was continuing to lead in GTD. Carter's, he's come back really, really well after what was a difficult race, let's be completely honest. Last time out, I mean, at Long Beach, Carter finished P4 in the end in what a race that he could have actually been in competition for the victory on. But he did get a 0x. One of 3 drivers, Brian Bennett, Eric Staropoli, who hasn't returned for this round of the season. But yeah, I think just last bit I'm going to say about Pat Pelchat and Samuel de Oliveira, it was just one of one and 500 of the other. I'd have to say it's too tough to call on that.
Yeah, we'd have to go back and look at it again. I mean, Oliveira was down on the bottom of the track as far as he could go. I don't. I understand both kind of angles. That we'll go back and take another look at it here when we get a little break in the action one more time. But here we are looking at Walker Carroll and Matt Brewer one more time. Carroll has found his way to the point here. Brewer still trying to chase him down. Only about 7/10 of a second back there, so we're still got a good battle here going in the LMP2.
Yeah, and Brewer has got the fastest lap of the race so far in the LMP2 class, a 53.940. But still, Robert Cast keeping to within a second of Carter Kundiger in terms of the GTD side of things. Now, pit stops are going to be very, very crucial. We will have a 2-stopper, maybe a 3-stopper, depending on the amount of fuel that drivers will have put in the car. And then, of course, over a 90-minute enduro, the thing is the tyres are going to degrade. This is a high-speed circuit, heavy braking points, a lot of lateral sidewall movement in the tyres as well. So it's a case of the drivers will have one thing on their mind. Okay, do I tough it out for the first hour, and then for the second stop I put a brand new set of rubber on the car, brand new 4 tyres, and go out there and just go for it? Because sometimes we've had it where drivers have decided to go for the full 90 minutes without changing tyres, and it has cost them time in that final and very, very important third stint.
Yeah, I don't. Are we going to see one stop here? Can they go 45 minutes and before they have to stop? I don't see anybody trying to make us 90 minutes on one set of tires. It would be kind of crazy, especially here at Road America, because it can be pretty tough on the tires, and we've actually seen some gravel kicked out on the racetrack too, which I'm sure might come into play as well.
Yeah, and in the meantime, GTD Yam is heating up once again. Paul Slavonic now leads out of Samuel de Oliveira. So obviously with that drama with de Oliveira, and they just got through that Sir Jason Kinger and diving to the inside. That is David Fernandez. No, that is de Oliveira. The de Oliveira, the front end on the pony car, a bit indented. I think it's the thing is that he's we know that the Mustang isn't exactly the most aerodynamic GT3 car in the world. Let's be completely honest here, folks. I mean, it's as aerodynamic as a brick, but it still has that punch from that 5.4 litre V8 engine that really just makes it motor around a fast circuit, and that's why we're seeing de Oliveira, we're seeing Kundiger like really, really pushing in some good old Detroit muscle around this circuit, and that's where the advantage of the Mustang comes through. But the car has really evolved in the hands of a lot of drivers that when it first hit, I think it was week 13 this year, and a lot of drivers were like thinking, I don't know. It was the same when the Aston Martin hit the iRacing service as well. When the Mustang and the Aston Martin Vantage came on as new cars, it was a case of the cars were instantly quick, but they instantly got bobbed, and now it's got to the point where the ledger has been slightly balanced, if I would be completely honest, Chris, because the drivers get to understand the nuances of the car. How do you combat the aerodynamics on the Mustang? Well, you're going to keep that ride height as low as possible. You want to make sure that it's got positive turn in. The steering's like really, really, really reactive, but it doesn't unsettle the back end, which is all that horsepower going through it. As Matt Brewer closing in once again on Walker Carroll in LMP2 for the class lead.
Yeah, Brewer's worked his way back up into the back of Carroll. They have not separated more than about half a second this entire race. So see if Brewer can find some pace Find his way around Carroll. We're 20 minutes, a little past 20 minutes into this race. Looking at Carroll, or excuse me, Brewer trying to set him up right here. Takes a wide berth into that corner, but just not able to get a good enough run off to get up alongside of Carroll at this point.
I mean, one of the things that I love with development of cars, I mean, you're now going to see that Brewer is all over the back bumper of Walker Carroll as the Fury Sim Sport number 9 keeps the lead ahead of the Hyperion Racing entry of Matt Brewer. I mean, one of the things that I love is the fact that Ford actually, Ford Performance in collaboration with M Sport and Multimatic, who also helped, or Multimatic helped in the development of the Ford GTD, the Ford LMGTE car, which signalled Ford's competitive return to Le Mans, where they went and won it 50 years after they won in 1966 with the good old GT40. M Sport in a place, and it is actually the name of a place in the United Kingdom. M Sport built, based in Cockermouth, and that is a true name in the United Kingdom. They were the ones that actually built the stroked dry sump 5.4 litre version of what was originally the 5 litre Coyote V8 that you would see in the road going version. So like say in the Ford GT, the Ford Mustang Dark Horse, etc. It was the bores were expanded, the bigger bore in stroke, capacity increased to 5.4 litres, and that's why we're seeing Cunningham and Oliveira punching really well in the GTD and the GTD AM classes. There has been a change a little bit further back in LMP2 at the meantime. Kadin Richardson has come back firing on all cylinders in the Dallara P217 in the 082, and he is now making his way through traffic. He's through on Mathieu Denis for the number 617 entry. Is now he's got the flashes on, he's got a couple of cars in front of him, and this is where Kadin Richardson really needs to be careful. I think that is going to be Kudrowski, who's got Minkler up the inside of him through at turn 5. Kadin Richardson has got to bide his time, wait for the opportunity. Is Kudrowski nearly into the right rear quarter panel of Minkler as they go through into turn 6, and then it's through into the right here at 7 into the hurry downs. But Kadin Richardson, that is how you manage back marker traffic. You wait, you bide your time, and when you know that you can make the move, you send it like you meant it and drive it like you stole it. And Kadin Richardson through into turn 8, now into the carousel. That was a perfect personification of how you get through back marker traffic. Wait and bide your time.
Yeah, and the tough thing right there, when you know that they're that much faster than the cars right in front of you, you just want to push your way through there. But Richardson did a really good job being patient, not trying to get in, make a hole where there wasn't one, and those two cars side by side in front of him would have been really easy to try to make it 3 wide, but he settled back there, waited for his moment. I mean, there's a long hour left to go in this race. There's no point in doing anything too stupid at this point.
Exactly, and it's double points up for grabs. It's 27 points it's normally 27 points for a win, well 25 points for a win, but it's double bubble in a round of the Autobahn Endurance Cup. And of course, the Autobahn Teams Championship with regards to with Haley Agency, you've got to be very careful on how things go. And at the way things are standing, I mean, Brandon Wilson has checked out, and he's now 5.4 seconds ahead of Nathan Dowd. Harrison Higgins rounds out your top 3 at the half-hour mark. We'll give you the top 3 rundown of each respective class here for season number 15, round 6 of the Autobahn Sports Car Challenge, combined with round the halfway point, as Matt Brewer has just lost second to Robert Tinsey because of having to serve a slow down penalty. Brewer's got the overspeed here. They've got one of the Sector 5 Mustangs just in front. I think that might be Bradley Haley. And Matt Brewer to the outside at turn 7. Well, how on earth did you make
pass
that
right
happen?
there?
That was a great pass. That was an absolutely brilliant pass. And now he's going to get through.
Yeah, not only did it take the guts to get out there like that, but you also got to trust that guy down on the bottom. Brewer's raced with Tinsey enough that he knew Tinsey was not going to push him off the top of the racetrack. But that was a heck of a pass. That's the best pass we've seen all day. We're going to give that the pass of the day so far.
Yes, indeed. Overtake of the day. So if you are watching along on the JP Broadcasting Network, thank you so much for joining us. You're in the company of Alex Goldschmidt and Chris Murphy. We're here with you all the way through to the end of the 90 minutes of Road America, America's National Park of Speed, here for round number 6. But Matt Brewer now back ahead of Satellite Racing's Rob Tinsey, as they will now head into the final corner, having negotiated their way out of Bill Mitchell Bend at turn number 13, having made the run up the hill through Thunder Valley out of turn 12, as we ride on board with Robert Tinsey. The gap is about 9/10 of a second. Matt Brewer now has to try and see if he can close the gap, which is just over 3 seconds between him and Walker Carroll, as he's now closing in on the GTD class leaders. Robert Cast is now caught up with Carter Cundinger as Brewer sends it up the inside at turn number 3, makes the move nice and clean. Cundinger and Cast using their spatial awareness, deciding, okay, well, we can battle away, but here goes Robert Tinsey as Robert Cast Rob Cast pulled in front, and now here goes Carter Cunningham. He's going to get the overspeed for Rob Tinsey, and that is going to be Mo Islam. Now he's caught up. Now Mo Islam has really been one of the drivers that has been on our radar for quite a few rounds of the championship so far this season. And looking back at his results this season so far, he's in the last 2 rounds at Mosport and Long Beach, he's had a 3rd and a 2nd, and Mo Islam has yet to hit the top step this season. Let's not forget he started his campaign back at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta at round 2 on October 6th. So far Mo's had 2 5ths, a 3rd and a 2nd, but Mo is closing in. He's about 1.3 seconds behind Rob Tinsey from Satellite Racing, and more to the point, he is absolutely flying. His best lap of the race so far, a 1:54.1. Brewer and Tinsey, 1:56.4, 1:56.5. Mo Islam, no traffic to worry about, 1:54.9. That gap has come down by over 1.6 seconds, and now he says, right, Mr. Brewer, Mr. Tinsey, they do say that 2's company, but I'm going to make it 3 a crowd.
Yeah, it's about to be a 3-car battle for this second spot in the LMP2. I've been keeping an eye on Pat Pelchat right here, watching his lap times, and he found his way back around Dominic Dornberg in his lap, watching the lap times, and he is running equal lap times to Wilson and Dowd and Higgins right in front of him. Here he is again right behind Brian Bennett in the 5-car, trying to find his way around. Pelchat not had a lot of great luck today getting around this lap traffic in the GTDM, but it looks like he's pretty fortunate that incident earlier did not do any more damage than it did, because he's still got some pretty good pace in that car.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the pit stop cycle, as Dominic Dernberg, the first one to dip in at the 29.5-minute mark as we go across the line to start lap number 17. Well, with the first half hour out of 90 minutes set to come quickly, let's take you through what's happening at the moment in with regards to our respective class top 3 for the Autobahn Sports Car Challenge round number 6 of season number 15. It is Brandon Wilson that leads the way in the GTP. He is now 4.8 seconds ahead of Nathan Dowd in the 07 second, the Cadillac, who is closing in because of the backmarker traffic situation. Harrison Higgins for Fury Simsport in the number 53 is rounding out your top 3 overall so far in GTP. LMP2, Walker Carroll leads the way in the number 9 Dallara P217 for Fury Simsport. He's 6 seconds ahead of Matt Brewer from Hyperion Racing, who's got Robert Tinsey from Satellite Racing in the 82 and the 91 of Mo Islam, closing in on that 3-way battle for P2 and LMP2 at the moment. Carter Cundinger in the 02 Composite Performances Mustang has got Robert Cast breathing down his rear tailpipes at the moment in the battle for the GTD class lead. 0.15 of a second as Fury Simsport's number 42 in the Aston Martin is closing in on that 5.4 litre Coyote V8 Mustang. Bradley Haley for Sector 5 Haley Agency in the 428 Mustang brings the blue oval first and third so far in GTD. It's Acura leading the way in GT3 AMS with Paul Slavonic closely hustled by the 522 of Portugal's Samuel de Oliveira, who's right on his tailpipes at the moment down the Road America straightaway as they complete lap number 15. David Fernandez in the 09 Porsche the other one of our Portuguese drivers rounds out your top three. So that's your top three rundown here for round 6, as battles are really, really raging on. It is too close to call here in the LMP2 class in the battle between Messrs Brewer, Tinsey and Islam. They are covered by 1.1 seconds, as because Brewer and Tinsey were fighting away, Mo Islam has picked up the pace, and he was a second quicker than Matt Brewer on the previous tour.
Yeah, great battles. The GTD classes are going to come down to the wire here. Cuttinger and Cass running side together. Slavonic and Oliveira, it's both separated. Both classes are separated by less than a second. Brewer was right up with Carroll there, but he has lost a lot of ground, back to 6.4 seconds back behind our leader. But he has got Tinsey and Isms, like you have said a couple of times here, just all over the back of him. So we've got a great battle going on for second in the LMP2. We look up at the GTP, and we're pretty much separated out there by about 5 or 6 seconds between cars. Wilson, Dowd, and Pelchat trying to work his way back up there in fourth right now, trying to reel in Higgins for that third position to get back on the podium.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but of course they still have that point whereby 67% maximum fuel limit for GTD and GTD AM. When we come back to obviously what information was given to the drivers, 80% for GTPs, 90% for LMP2s with regards to fuel tank limits, the maximum fueling they can do. And De Oliveira, despite that front end of that Mustang looking rather wounded, as you can see, the splitter pushed in, the front grille pushed in, mainly predominantly on the left-hand side by the left front headlight, as Brandon Wilson now pits from the lead of the race. Pat Pelchat has decided to dive in at the same time on lap number 18. So we're seeing Brewer, Tinsey and Richardson have pitted at the same time, meaning that Walker Carroll still leads LMP2. Mo Islam has gone with him and stayed out, as De Oliveira and Slavonic, just after the 33-minute mark, have come into pit lane. So that would mean probably with about 24 minutes to go, they might come in and do their second pit stop of the race.
Yeah, Islam stayed out there on the racetrack. He didn't fall. I thought he might follow Brewer and Tinsey in right there. We'll see if these guys take tires and see if that really hurts that. Islam was closing down the back on him for that second and third position in the LMP2. But we'll see how this pit strategy shakes out. As Nathan Dowd, we're looking at now leading this race in the GTP class as a pit stop cycle through.
Yeah, pit stop cycles are going to be very, very crucial. Brandon Wilson, 33.6 on his marks in the pit lane. Dominic Dernberg, 29.3 in the 913 Acura. And still, the battle for GTD top honours continues at a rapid pace. Carter Cunningham and Robert Carr still very much embroiled. Samuel de Oliveira left after 64 seconds total time in the pit lane. So De Oliveira returns, and Pat Pelchat's just had an off track, so probably a slight faux pas from the Canadian in the 919. Now this is coming out of turn number 1, it looks like, by the slow motion replay. Love a bit of slow-mo, and the back end stepped out. That's cold tyres, and that's not going to help, because these, the tyres might be completely warm. But if you come out of the pit lane after a 60-second trip through there, with Slavonic had to get out of dodge very, very quickly there. So Pat Pelchat brings gravel out onto the circuit, and at the moment, Carter Cunningham is in the pit lane. Robert Cast now has been released and has the lead at the minute. So in the meantime, LMP2. The cycle of pit stops are carrying on, as Matt Brewer now behind Cadin Richardson. He was on his marks in the pit lane for 37 seconds, so that's going to cost him time. Walker Carroll and Mo Islam now in the pit lane. Harrison Higgins and Nathan Dowd have now pitted, and Higgins has just got a black flag. I think that's for possibly entering too hot into the pit lane. Matt Brewer has just got a mechanical black flag and has just gone back to pit road. And there is the forlorn car of Jordan Martin, I believe. He had a second trip into the pit lane and has called it time after 12 and a half laps at this moment. So, and Harrison Higgins has got a black flag penalty he's going to have to serve in that pit lane. So that pit stop is going to go from just over 30 to about probably north of a minute. There's more gravel being kicked up. Everyone's going off at turn 1 at the moment after this first set of pit stops here, Chris.
Yeah.
It's we did say that Road America was going to provide some excitement, and by golly, have we got it.
Yeah, we've the race was pretty cut and dry there for a while, except for a couple offs here and there, a couple small incidents. But this first round of pit stops has really thrown a wrinkle into a lot of these guys' plans here. Higgins and everybody with some Higgins and Martin, and it looks like Martin might be done, but Higgins still in the pits with that black flag. So it's kind of tough sometimes getting off that last corner here at Road America, getting the car woed up, getting it slowed up enough to get in the pits, and I think that's what we're seeing. Just guys not getting the cars slowed down enough, and that's what those black flags are coming from.
Yes, indeed. It just goes to show that this might be round number 6, but any points you lose at this point is going to hurt you. Robert Cast now dives into pit lane in the 42 Fury Simsport Aston Martin V8 Vantage from the class lead, which means that at this moment in time, Jason Kinger has not yet pitted, Brian Bennett not yet pitted. So I would imagine that Kinger and Bennett will pit now. And as I say that, the Solpic Precision Racing 992 GT3R, well, what will now be known as the 992.1, because there's been an evolution kit for the aerodynamics for the 992.2 GT3R for Porsche's GT3 weapon. And, well, in an interesting turn of events, Ayeshan Guven, this year's DTM champion, will not be returning to the German-based championship to defend his title. He's going to go IMSA in 2026. He made a recent announcement on social media about that, as well. Matt Brewer, his race has been dealt a killer blow, unfortunately.
I'm not seeing what that incident was here where Brewer went off, get that, what we call the meatball flag right there. But it looks like, Brewer had a good, strong run going. Thought he was going to give Carroll a battle for the lead, but it looks like his chances of the win are long gone out the window now. Because I'm trying to find the event here that might have caused that so we can see what happened.
Yeah, sorry, my apologies to Ayeshan Guven. It's actually, he's going to be running with Team Manthey in the FIA1 Endurance Championship, not IMSA as I thought earlier on, because Porsche have had a lot of changes in their lineup. But this is Matt Brewer, so this is going to be... Oh, now, don't tell me... Oh, the back end just stacked on him, and...
Oh my goodness. That is a big stunt right there.
Oh my goodness.
We might have to go back and watch. We might have to watch that again from inside.
We need to watch this. I think we need to also watch it at full racing speed. Is at 5th gear, turns the car in, the back end steps out, he catches the slide initially, and then all of a sudden he's a passenger, bang! I think we need to see that at high speed, if I'm honest with you, Chris, just to give everyone a sheer idea. The slowdown brake means you're able to break it down, but this is at full racing speed. 5th gear, turns in, back end steps out, and bang!
That is
that's hard.
Big hit. Unfortunate for Matt Brewer. The car just kind of snapped. It back end kind of started to get loose on him there. A little bit of oversteer, and he tried to chase it, and unfortunately it just snapped. Caught a little traction, showed him right out into the outside wall. Unfortunate for Brewer. That is definitely going to end his day right there. That is going to leave that second place battle for LMP down to Islam and Tinsley at this point, as Richardson is also working his way up into that battle as well. So we still have a 3-car battle for that second spot in LMP2, but Richardson's going to climb over and take the place of Brewer.
Yeah, so there we go. It's just the case of a big moment like that just before the halfway point, and that is going to hurt Matt Brewer on that one, I'm afraid. It just goes to show, Matt he picked up the win at Mosport. He wasn't with us at Long Beach. And they can say that sometimes you go from hero to zero. Well, that was a moment that I think Matt Brewer did not definitely want, as Cadin Richardson looking to dive to the inside of Robert Tinsley through at turn 6. His wheel to wheel. They're trading paint. They're swapping paint on the panels. And Cadin Richardson to the outside through into the hurry downs. Richardson might have the inside line here for turn 8, but Tinsley to the outside. He's just about made it through.
Yeah, once again, we saw Tinsley battling with Brewer that same exact way to that same corner, gave that space to the outside, but Richardson not able to get past Tinsley this time. A great fight one more time. I'm going to go back and comment on Matt Brewer thing again real quick. I hope Matt Brewer doesn't have a full motion rig in his house, because that might have hurt.
I hope his hands were off that steering wheel the minute that he realised that car was going to go left and into the barriers, because we know that with the world of sim racing, when you've got direct drive, you've got force feedback. If that because one of the things as a racing driver, you are told that if you are going to a barrier at a high rate of speed, you take your hands off that steering wheel, because that could break wrists, that can break thumbs out of sockets. So the main thing is, I hope that Matt is all okay. Looks like he's called time on the race after 18 laps. A real shame
Yeah, it was a
for a
good
man
run.
who was in definitive competition. As Pat Pelchat is looking to dive through on Richardson and Tinsey. That's not going to work at turn one, Pat. I think after what happened with De Oliveira, he's having to be very, very careful with how he negotiates his way through the back marker traffic, and more to the point, that was a bit more of a patience is a virtue kind of moment from Pat Pelchat as they go underneath the Sargento Cheese Bridge, and Nathan Dowd now has a lead over Brandon Wilson. So Dowd at this point is leading the way in the Sector 5 Haley Agency Caddy V Series GTP prototype car. So Nathan Dowd, I mean, Nathan, let's be completely truthful on this one, Chris. For Nathan, he's not placed high. He's had 3/3 this season so far. Road Atlanta, round 2, Motegi, round 3, and then also at Long Beach, where he also was, along with Pat Pelchat, one of two drivers that got a 0x. So you obviously you get a point for pole position, you get a point for a 0x. So Nathan Dowd wanting to make sure that he's not here just to make up the numbers.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, he did have a pole early in the season, or a couple races ago, but has not really panned out to a good finish for him. But I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to figure out if looking at the pit time, they both had pretty similar. Actually, his pit time over Wilson was a little bit slower. So I'm trying to figure out where Dowd made this pass on Wilson, and I'm just not able to find it in my list of things here. But I'm gonna keep digging for it.
I'm just having a look at. Well, the thing is, Nathan Dowd went in a lap later, so he went on a lap later than Brandon Wilson. So I think it might have been just.
I think the overcut was just that much stronger. Or?
Probably his in lap might have been pretty good.
Yeah, it must
I
have
would have
been.
thought that's probably why. So on that perspective, that's probably why. But Nathan's got to be very, very careful, because Brandon is closing that gap. The gap is now 1.8 seconds. It was just north of 2. But in the meantime, we still have the battle for P2. Walker Carroll is up the road in the LMP2 class. He's 13.5 seconds ahead of Mo Islam, who now for composite performances is running a genuine P2. So it's more the case of him, Tinsey, and now the recovering Cadin Richardson. Now, Cadin, we knew that he didn't have a good run at one of the earlier races, and that was at Mosport. But he's had 4 wins out of 5 this season, which is why he's got a 47-point advantage over Mathieu Denise, who's down in 5th at the minute. I mean, it's going to be one of those cases that we're going to see some drivers really start to make their mark. And Mo Islam, the way he's going at the minute, he's only 8 points behind the man who's behind him at the moment as they go through on Mark Kudrowski in the 00. You can just see that coming out of, just coming out through this part of the circuit, going through into Bill Mitchell Bend at turn 13. Mo Islam really has hit his stride. The first few rounds, it was highs and lows, but now he's really got a handle on this Dallara P217.
Yeah, Mo Islam's showing real good pace right here. Hold on to that second spot. Brewer kind of vacated it with that incident, and so it's going to be Islam. But good battle here. Tinsey still doing a good job holding on to third. Richardson's putting all the pressure on him. So this is the best battle we have on the racetrack now. It's this battle for second here for the LMP2 with Islam, Tinsey, and Richardson.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy one.
That was close from Richardson.
Something puckered up. I could feel it. I could feel it there in Cadin Richardson. That was nearly a co-brand and a clean up on aisle 3 right there. But he managed to, out of turn 3, just keep the car compliant and pointing in the right direction rather than doing a full 180 or maybe even doing a Travis Pastrana, Gymkhana kind of thing. Looking forward to seeing his latest Gymkhana film, which is going to be with the Subaru Brat, funnily enough, and it's going to be down under. And I think that's actually going to be released tomorrow, US time. So on December 9th, the new Gymkhana project with Travis Pastrana. Gone is the family huckster, and now the Subaru Brat is about. And he's always wanted to do one with the Subaru Brat. I mean, Subaru has always been involved quite a lot with Vermont's Sportscar, who have run him and the people such as like 10-time American Rally champion David Higgins, Brandon Lozano, who's currently leading the overall in the American Rally Association Championship in the top tier class. But Mo Islam is not letting Tinsey or Richardson get past in that battle for P2 at the moment. He is hanging on as they come out of turn number 14, and we are past the halfway point. This is a real good battle. It's less than half a second, covering second to fourth in LMP2 as they come at a big rate of speed, over 170 miles an hour. Islam pulls to the right-hand side to keep the inside line for turn one, but will Tinsey get the overspeed? He's going to go for it. He's going to try. And it looks like someone kicked up the gravel. That was Chris Sherburn in the 007 Acura. And Tinsey to the outside of 3. But he still hasn't got the run on Islam. Islam down into the Moraine Sweep underneath the Sargento Cheese Bridge. And here comes Kadin Richardson with a head full of steam. He doesn't know where to put the car.
Islam's going to lose 2 spots right here. Tinsey's going to get that run up on the outside. Now we got the inside going to his next corner. Richardson followed him right through an unfortunate Islam with a great run, but he is now going to fall back to 4th. Great battle right here in this LMP2.
Well, there you go. It's just all about picking your moment and making sure that it works. There's been another kick up of gravel by somebody else just up in front of Rob Tinsey. And whoever that was bringing up the gravel has done a good job of bringing more gravel onto the circuit here at Road America, as we are about a minute and a half away. That was Jason Kinger, I think. Yeah, that was Kinger in the 412 Porsche in GTD, who's now dropped down into 5th, was battling in the top 3 earlier on in the race. But it is always about that pendulum swing. We're going to have a look here. Now that is going to be Nathan Dowd behind him, down to the inside. Oh no, and Kinger in the barriers.
Much bigger hit than it showed, than we thought it was going to be. But yeah, unfortunate right there. Another incident between a lap car. Kinger pays the price for that one into the tire barrier.
Yeah, that was not exactly great there. And it looked like, if anyone might remember the film The Love Bug with... with Herbie, I think it was like the hood on the 911 Porsche of Jason Kinger was trying to say something at that point, saying "Ouch, that hurt," yeah, because obviously the Porsche 911, the grandfather of that car was the good old Volkswagen Beetle, if people might remember. So from plucky beginnings of the car that was the people's car, that effectively. Is what the Volkswagen Beetle was back in the days when it was originally known as the Type 39, when it was first created back during the Second World War, but then became one of the most iconic and loved vehicles in the world and was produced for well over 6 decades, especially in South America. But Wilson has got through on Dowd, so I think Dowd might have picked up a little bit of damage after that contact. With Jason Kinger, who is in pit lane, and I would imagine there's going to be some damage repair on that Porsche 992 GT3R. But Brandon Wilson here on lap number 27 retakes the race lead from Nathan Dowd from Sector 5 in the Caddy. And look, straight away, as soon as Wilson got through on Dowd, he has put the hammer down, and he's pulling away quite convincingly. The gap now up to 0.4 of a second. Pat Pelchat now has made his way up towards the back end of the Acura of Dominic Dernberg, as they have now got past on Samuel de Oliveira, who leads in GTD, and Pelchat for Solpec Precision Racing now trying to get through. Is he going to dive to the inside? He pulls out at the last moment in the 963 hybrid. To the inside he goes, and Dornberg keeps it round the outside, and the Acura remains in front down the hill through into turn 2. Pelchata gets again looking to stick his nose up the inside at 3. They are nearly swapping paint. Dornberg opens the steering. Pelchat and Dornberg wheel to wheel down into the Moraine sweep. Dornberg and the Acura is going to have the inside line here for turn 5. But can Pelchat be later on the brakes? It's going to be the bravest of the brave that's going to get through for this position. But can there be the crossover point? Pelchat pulls to the outside, looks to try and get through. He might try the move here at turn 6. He's on the brakes, and still Dornberg in front of him at this moment in time. Great exchange, and they are losing. They are hemorrhaging time behind Nathan Dowd, because at the moment Dornberg is about 18.3 seconds ahead of Dornberg and Pelchat in this battle for P3 in GTP honours. We've just about to hit the 52-minute mark. The battles are coming thick and fast at certain points of the race here, Chris. There is no sign it is going to slow down in any stretch of the imagination for the next 38 minutes of the race here at Road America.
No, not at all. And Pelchat's been on a mission ever since his earlier incidents. He's worked his way back up on the back of Dominic Dornberg here. But Dornberg's not giving up easily. He's putting up one hell of a fight here. He's making Pat work for this third position to get up on the podium. Dornberg looking to get his first podium of the season, and he wants everything he do to can't hang on to this. But Pelchat is just all over the back of him right here. I don't think Dornberg's going to be able to hold this off for much longer.
Yeah, Pelchat is really winding up the wick on that 919 Solpec Precision Racing 963 Porsche Hybrid. He dives to the inside once again through here at turn 1, and it looks like a better attempt here by the man from Canada. He gets through on his countryman. They've got Bradley Haley just in front, and Dornberg's going to try and return the favour here at turn 3, but Pelchat was more committed, and I think a lot closer to the inside of Dornberg. He managed to get the slipstream. He waited right until the lastminute.com opportunity to get through on his countryman in the Composite Performances Acura 06 GTP. But there we go, still Nathan Dowd for Sector 5 Haley Agency, still keeping with Hyperion Racing's Brandon Wilson, and we still have over 35 minutes to go. We are probably about 10 to 12 minutes away maybe from the next set of pit stop windows, but Brandon Wilson and Pat Pelchat once again showing why they are the cream of the crop here in GTP.
Yeah, Wilson able to get by Dowd. You know, we thought Dowd might have taken a little bit of damage with that incident with that lap car earlier with Kinger, but he's actually hanging on to the back of Wilson pretty good right here. Pelchat about 8, almost 19 seconds back. I don't think Pelchat's going to have a chance to reel these two in, not at least under, unless something happens up here in the front. But Dowd showing some good pace right here. He's hanging on to Wilson. Let's see if he can, you know, we got one more pit stop to go, like you said. We got a little over half an hour. We're going to see if maybe he can, you know, earlier he had a much better it was either the in lap or the out lap, one of the two, and he was able to get ahead of Wilson. Let's see if he can do it again here.
Yep, and the thing is that if you can do that, the overcut can be powerful here at Road America, and that just goes to show why Nathan Dowd, who so far this season has not picked up a victory. Like I said, this is the highest place he is at the moment. Mo Islam closing in once again on Kadin Richardson, and Richardson I think has just kicked up a little bit of gravel as Islam gets through on Brian Bennett, who's had a rough introduction to the GTD division now that he's been promoted after round 5 at Long Beach. But Mo Islam is going to keep on trucking, and he's going to keep on pushing, as we've seen. We saw that at Long Beach back on just 2 weeks ago. And more to the point, it is going to be the case of how this final pit stop cycle goes through, as through on Paul Slavonic, the man who's currently P2 in the 528 Acura NSX GT3. Something quite interesting I noticed on social media and on local some automotive news websites, Chris, that there's actually a collaboration between the original designers of the NSX and Jazz Motorsport, who actually build the Acura NSX, or as it's known over here in Europe, the Honda NSX GT3 car. They're actually doing a retro mod of the original 1990s Honda NSX, and I've seen some shots of it. I'll have to send some to you a little bit later, where they've done they're doing a resto mod idea on the original NSX that was in the US and North America and Canada as the Acura NSX, but over here it was known as the Honda NSX, and the man who was charged with developing and fine-tuning the car, which wasn't the biggest in terms of horsepower, was the late great three-time Formula One world champion Ayrton Senna.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing that. Always like the retro stuff. The new stuff's really cool, but when they can come back and bring something that looks a little retro and put some new technology on it, it's also really cool to see.
There's a lot of resto mods happening. I think one company's done a retro mod on the old Lotus Esprit. If anyone might remember the bright white Lotus Esprit that Roger Moore drove into the water back on when he was playing 007, of course, secret agent from MI6 James Bond. But Rich Minkler now closing in. And this is going to be on Dale Green in the yellow submarine Aston Martin, as we like to call it here on Autobahn. The 979 Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Good run here by Dale Green. He's up 2 spots. He started P6 57 minutes ago and now is running P4 ahead of Rich Minkler, who is closing in. So it's Gaydon versus Stuttgart at the moment with regards to the localities of where these manufacturers are based. But here comes Rich Minkler in the 992 GT3R. The number 908 shows his nose, but the 979 Aston Martin holds P4 going into turn 1.
I thought he might have had a run down there on the bottom, but had to kind of settle back. It's really hard to stop yourself from taking that late lunge when you see that bottom opened up, but Minkler did a good job kind of settling back. He knows we got a half an hour left. There's no point in making a mistake right there and taking them both out of this race. But a good run from Green up into 4th, like you said. So let's see if he can hang on and keep Minkler back there behind him.
Now, for those wondering about the Lotus Esprit reference I just made to Roger Moore and James Bond, it was 1977 in The Spy Who Loved Me, which was the white, where it was nicknamed Wet Nelly. And there was another one where there was a Lotus Esprit Turbo that was in the 1981 film For Your Eyes Only, that Roger Moore was hooning around the ski resort back in the early 80s, and that was when he took over the mantle of the man who was on Her Majesty's Secret Service, so to speak. Sean Connery, George Lazenby. Roger Moore then had the mantle handed over to Timothy Dalton. Then, of course, Pierce Brosnan, a favourite for many of people. And then, of course, the most recent iteration, up until A Time to Kill, played by Daniel Craig. Which also had the likes of Rami Malek, who played Freddie Mercury in the biopic about Freddie Mercury and Queen in Bohemian Rhapsody, if anyone's seen that particular Hollywoodization of the story of music artists within the world. But we are coming down towards our final top 3 roundup here for round 6 of the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge. Round number 6 on season 15, and also the halfway point of the Autobahn Endurance Cup. Let's take you through the top 3 of the respective classes. Brian Wilson still leads in GTP, having briefly vacated the lead to Nathan Dowd, who is just 7.5 tenths of a second behind him after 32 laps of racing. Pat Pelchat for Sole Precision Racing in the 919 Porsche 963 Hybrid is chasing them down. He's about 19 seconds behind in P3. LMP2, it is Fury Sim Sports, Walker Carroll that leads the way in the number 9, followed by the Satellite Racing 82 entry of Rob Tinsey. Cadin Richardson, the LMP2 class leader with 4 wins so far this series in season number 15, rounds out your top 3. Robert Cast for Fury Sim Sport leads the way in the number 42 Aston Martin. Carter Cunningham in the 02 Composite Performances Ford Mustang rounds out second, and in third it is a Mustang 2-3. So good old Detroit Muscle rounding out the top 3 in GTD with Sector 5 Haley Agency's very own Bradley Haley, Samuel de Oliveira bringing Detroit Muscle to the front of GTD Am in the number 522, and he is a big margin ahead of Paul Slavonic in the 528 Acura NSX GT3. David Fernandez makes it Portugal in first and third position at the moment in the 09 Porsche 992 GT3R. So at the moment we have 3 marks leading the way, well, top 3 in GTP and also in GTD Am are occupying the top 3 spots. So BMW from Caddy from Porsche in GTP, Ford from Acura from Porsche in GTD Am. We are under 30 minutes to go. I think pit stops are imminent here, Chris, as Brandon Wilson starting to stretch the legs on the BMW MV8 Hybrid. He's just got through on David Fernandez in P3 in the GTD Am side of things, and that gap is starting to expand because Nathan Dowd is having to wait to get through, and the gap's now up to 1.5.
Yeah, Dowd slipped back here just a little bit. You're right. I think we're going to have pit stops here pretty soon. We are, let's see, we pitted back about lap 18, lap 19, so I think we're going to see some stops here in the next couple of laps. You know, I'm looking once
Dornberg's
again.
already in. Yeah, Dornberg's already in. So he's pitted early for composite performances in the 913 Acura. So could this be he's trying for the big old undercut? Maybe brim the tank, put a new set of tyres on it. So that we'll have to wait because the jury's not quite out on that one yet, is it?
No, not quite. And I was just going to speculate. I wonder if Pelchat's going to try to do maybe a fuel only. I don't know if it really saves him that much time or not. But I mean, I don't think that's even going to make up that 18 seconds. But he just maybe got to try to do something. He has been cutting into that lead a little bit. It was over 19. He's cut a second into it. But with only 28 minutes left to go in this race, that is going to be a tall ask right there to make up almost 18 seconds on Dowd and Wilson.
Yeah, Dominic Dernberg looks like he's only taken fuel. Looks like the first stint for the GTPs, they did add, they were like doing 33 points, 33s, 34s. Harrison Higgins, well, he got that black flag and ended up in the pit lane for a minute and 40. So Harrison Higgins, who started P4, was punching in the top 3 before his black flag, which I think happened because he was speeding coming into pit lane. That has cost him big time in terms of championship points, but Kadin Richardson closing in on Rob Tinsey, whereas, you know, Walker Carroll, he's 14 seconds up the road. Walker Carroll is absolutely charging at the front end of the LMP2 at the moment. Now, bearing in mind, Walker has only run 3 races so far this season. He's 87 points behind Kadin Richardson, but this is going to really shoot him up the table, because more to the point, it's going to be 50 points for a win. Walker Carroll did take pole position as well, so I think if I remember correctly, does that add an additional point?
I haven't looked at the points structure on it, so I was hoping you'd know.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, there's so much information we have to try and keep an eye on as commentators. But if he has got a, I mean, he's like been very careful. But here is Harrison Higgins once again. We're going to see, well, we saw Pat Pelchat battling with Dominic Dernberg. Now we've got another Porsche versus Acura battle, and this time Harrison Higgins has got the fire lit in the belly, and he's right with Dominic Dernberg as they come out of Bill Mitchell Bend at turn 13, out of turn 14, and look how close Harrison Higgins is. He needs to, well, he's going to dive into pit lane. Oh, that was a real shame there. I think he might have been marginal on fuel. So on lap 35, or lap 34 effectively for Harrison Higgins, he's going to pull into pit lane. Just make sure you don't have that speeding in the pit lane again, and if it's going out of the pit lane, that becomes an automatic drive through. But Brandon Wilson is now 2.2 seconds to the good ahead of Nathan Dowd. Now, when is Brandon Wilson going to pit? No, he's going to keep it around for another 4.048 miles. So it's a very lengthy circuit here at Road America, but more to the point, it is going to be the case of, well, Dowd has stayed out. Pelchat is going to get through on Brian Bennett through at turn 14. And Bennett keeps out of the way. Pelchat has been a bit more measured after that incident with Samuel de Oliveira, the GTD Am class leader early doors at around about the 20-minute mark. So Pat Pelchat with a head of steam comes down at high velocity down the Road America straightaway, as here comes Harrison Higgins out of pit lane. Well, Pelchat's got through and puts Harrison Higgins a lap down. So Pat Pelchat has got that gap between him and Nathan Dowd down to about 18.1 seconds. Looking at the lap times, Dowd and Wilson are both quicker than Pelchat, so Pelchat's got to drive this thing like he stole it here, Chris, because it's a bit of pill to swallow. You know, you have an incident with a GTD Yam car earlier on in the race, and Pat at the moment he's had 3 race wins so far. He's had three wins, and he actually took pole, fastest lap, and yeah, so it is for pole position you get an additional point. For fastest lap you get an additional point, and I think you also get 2 points for a 0x race. And I know for a fact that Pat Pelchat will not have a 0x race this time after that contact with De Oliveira earlier on in the race. And now this time, that's nicely done there, Mr. Pelchat. Ran through on Samuel De Oliveira, putting the GTD Yam class leader down, and you can see on the timing towers, Nathan Dowd has the fastest lap of the race overall, a 1:48.246 in GTP. Walker Carroll in LMP2. Brandon Wilson's going to carry on for another lap, so Brandon really extending the fuel mileage in the BMW V8 hybrid. 4-litre twin turbo V8. Now the engine was shoehorned into this car, of course, Dallara being the chassis partner for BMW Motorsport, headed up by head of motorsport division Andreas Roos, who replaced Jens Marcotte, who was part of Toyota's Formula One activities back in the 2000s. Toyota now making a return as the title sponsor of Haas Grand Prix for 2026 onwards, thanks to the cooperation between Gene Haas and Akio Toyoda, who's also known, who at the age of 70 is still competing in racing under his master driver alias Maurizio, who was also one of the people that drove the original Lexus LFA prototype around the 24 hours of the Nürburgring. And if anyone might know the story behind Toyota Gazoo Racing, that Akio Toyoda used Maurizio as an alias, so no one from the board of management would know that he was behind the wheel of the car. It was all very, very covert, but now he is not only the CEO of one of the biggest global manufacturers in the world that have just brought out that wonderful looking Toyota GR, GT and GT3, which has just been shown to the world, which I'm really looking forward to seeing, either because it's going to replace the GT3 is going to replace the Lexus RCF GT3 that has been around for so many years. But Brandon Wilson on lap 37 brings the Hyperion Racing number 4 BMW hybrid into pit road. Nathan Dowd, now can he make this work?
Yeah, he's got some fresh air in front of him right now. Let's see if he can get a good in lap right here. It worked for him last time. Wilson down in the pits. I don't think we're going to see Wilson take tires. I'd be surprised if it's not just fuel only. We're keeping an eye on his pit time, but he has been in there for quite a bit, so I think he is going to be taking a set of tires here. 31 seconds in the pits right now. So yeah, so we'll see what Dowd can do here on this in lap.
Yeah, Pelchat's also pitted at the same time as Wilson, so I mean, looking at Pat Pelchat, he's so Brandon Wilson, timer is ticking, approaching 15 seconds on his marks in pit lane. So if it is sub 25 seconds, that is a fuel stop. Pat Pelchat now on his marks in pit road, 22.4. So Brandon Wilson did not take tyres.
Yeah, so that's going to set that up for Dowd. If he can see what Wilson, or somebody's telling him what Wilson did right there, he's probably going to see when he comes out on the track where he's going to be at. So he knows whether he can take tires or not. He knows Wilson just took fuel. So we'll see what Dowd does here and see how much longer he can stretch this. I don't think you want to go much longer, but may not make a big difference with this in or out lap right here with Wilson, since they're both going to be on older tires, but Wilson's got to get out of the pits clean.
Yeah, Pat,
he's coming out in traffic here.
Yeah, he's coming out in traffic, so that is going to be more than likely that is the Acura of Jimbo Pfeiffer in the 22. He's got to get through on, and Jimbo gets out of the way nice and neatly. Pat Pelchat also did not take tyres in that second stint, as on the flashers. And there we go. Nathan Dowd comes into pit lane on lap number 30, on the end of lap number 38. So let's see. Brandon Wilson How soon can he get to the start-finish straight? He's coming through the carousel now, I believe. And he's going to be coming through the kink at a big rate of speed. Nathan Dowd is yet to start. Yeah, so through the kink, down through into Kettle Bottoms, in towards Canada Corner. Dowd hasn't even started taking on fuel. Well, he has now, so this is going to be really, really tight. Through into turn 12 at Canada Corner goes Brandon Wilson, up through Bill Mitchell Bend via Thunder Valley, and then into turn 14. This is going to be right down to the wire. Out of the final corner comes Brandon Wilson. Nathan Dowd, 19.43. Could he might just make it behind Wilson, who's at full speed. Let's just see. Dowd, is he ahead?
Dowd is ahead.
I think Dowd is ahead. Now, we've got to wait for the timing to rectify itself, and the gap is, well, look at that. Nathan Dowd, 19.43 seconds taking on fuel. I think he's probably he might just put enough to get him across the line with fumes in the gas tank, but it's 2.5 seconds, and now the race really begins as we are less than 20 minutes to go. We're getting to the 18-minute mark remaining as Walker Carroll pits from the LMP2 class lead. This is going to be down to the wire here in the GTP side of things. Rich Minkler has just pitted from GTDM. De Oliveira has already pitted, did not take a second set of tyres. 19.63 was his mark in the pit lane. Slavonic has Slavonic 15.9 on his mark, so whether that Acura has been a little bit better on its fuel mileage, but he's about 4 seconds behind De Oliveira. Rich Minkler 17.6 in the pit lane on his mark, so about a 50 or so second total pit stop time, including the transfer time from the entrance to the exit of pit road. But everybody in GTP have now made their final pit stops, as here comes Brian Bennett. He's closing in on Carter Kundinger. Now, Kundinger has already pitted. He pitted on lap 34, whereas Brian Bennett is now on lap 35. That's 17 laps, and he's got some speed here, so maybe he might try and pull the move on Carter Kundinger to get through for P2, but then he might dart into pit lane maybe within the next lap or so. So Brian Bennett, it's been a difficult one. He did get caught up in some drama earlier on in the race, but still, to be the person that has got the bullseye on the back of his car, he's doing a really, really good job, and that McLaren's going to stretch its legs. Nathan Dowd, look, there we see the gap has come down by 0.7 of a second in the early stage of this crossover point after the pit stop. So it was 3.5 when Brandon Wilson came out. Well, Nathan Dowd came out in front of Brandon Wilson, 3.5 seconds. But Wilson, we saw it in the first set of pit stops here, Chris, that Brandon Wilson, you can see he's a lot more calm. That driving style on that BMW, the BMW looks smooth, it looks compliant, it looks quick.
Yeah, Dowd did a really great job getting in and out of the pits on both of these stops, and that's going to give him a chance to maybe his first chance, the best chance of the season, to give us a different winner besides Pelchat or Wilson in the GTP. Right now, Wilson holding a pretty good pace right now. He was holding pace with, Dowd's holding good pace. He was holding pace with Wilson before the pit stop on the older tires, and they both look like they took fuel only. So let's see who can keep these tires under. Wilson did cut in about a 1/10 there on that last half a lap.
Yep, so we are coming down to T-minus just over 15 minutes and counting to conclude this first part of the series, round 6 of the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge for season number 15, and the halfway point of the Autobahn Endurance Cup. Chris Sherburn, in the meantime, what a run he's been having. He's up to P3 and he is closing in more to the point on Paul Slavonic. However, Slavonic has already served his second pit stop. Meantime, the Gone Broke Racing 007 Acura is closing in on the sister vehicle in the 528 just up ahead. So I would think that Sherburn is going to very shortly pit that Acura into pit lane for the final time tonight, and will be the last driver in GTD AM. Brian Bennett for Sector 5 Black now pulls the 161 McLaren into pit lane. So it looks like it will be that Chris Sherburn will be the last driver to jump into the pit lane. The first one in the second round of pit stops was the 913 of Dominic Dernberg, the Acura. And there is Wilson. He's got that gap down. Oh, well, he is closing in. The gap now is 2 seconds because Nathan Dowd is having to fight with back marker traffic, but under the Speedfield Bridge they go and through into the carousel. Look at how... Now that is a driver that is one with the car there, Chris, just judging by the steering inputs. Going through the carousel, that steering was so smooth.
Yeah, you're not seeing Wilson fight this car a whole lot through like you said, really smooth through the carousel. Little wiggle there coming out of turn 12, but he is reeling in Dowd right. Oh, big jump right there. He took a half a second out right there. Dowd off just a little bit, and once again, another little mistake from Dowd. Wilson closing in fast here with about 13 and a half minutes left to go.
Yeah, and they both just had to get through. I think Nathan Dowd got not impeded, but he found that it looks like it was Rich Minkler that was in front of him in the 908 Porsche 992 GT3R. So Brandon Wilson able to make quicker work of getting through, and the gap now 1.6 seconds as we are now on lap 42 of the race here at America's National Parker Speed Road America, here for round 6 of the series. And we are running all the way through to, I think, we're running through until the middle of April, the second weekend of April, because we've got a lot of races still to go, because after this it will be a 4-week break, so everyone can rest up through the holiday season, and also going into 2026. Portimao will be our next round 7, so we go back to the traditional 60-minute format. Then round 8 on January 19th at Bathurst, Mount Panorama, Jerez for in Spain on February 2nd.
That's
for
not
round 9. Indianapolis.
That's not Jerez.
Go on. Jerez, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll just give him my bad American joke. Sorry.
Don't worry, Jerez. No. Then we got Indianapolis round 10 on February 16th. Round 11 Sebring March 2nd. Hockenheimring March 16th. Motorland Aragon in Spain will be the penultimate round of the season, and then it is the 90-minute season finale at the Ardennes Forest in Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium for the 14th and final round of the season, and also the 4th and final round of the Autobahn Endurance Cup, and thereby the Autobahn Team Championship presented by Haley Agency will be decided at that point. But still, Nathan Dowd is leading the way. There is Walker Carroll, the LMP2 class leader. Mo Islam at the moment is about 1.7 seconds ahead of Robert Tinsley in the battle for P2. Mo Islam yet to get that victory, but he's going to equal his best performance of the season so far. And more to the point, Nathan Dowd is trying to do what he can. He's trying to keep that caddy pointing the right direction. As through on David Fernandez goes Brandon Wilson. The gap now up to 1.4 seconds. As we ride on board with the Hyperion Racing number 4 BMW MV8 Hybrid 7th gear. Down into the Moraine sweep we go. Down the gearbox into second. Turn it in on the curbing. Nice and neatly through there. Up to third. Underneath the Corvette bridge, into second again here for turn 6. And it's going to be the right-hander in 7 that's going to lead us through into the hurry downs before the run down to the carousel. Up to 5th gear. Hits the rev limiter down to second here for turn 8. And underneath the Speedville bridge through into the carousel. Building the speed, building the momentum, 4th gear. Nice little bit of throttle modulation, and then up into 5th as he exits out of turn 10. Through onto Paul Slavonic goes Brandon Wilson, and that's at big speed through at the kink at 7th gear. That gap has come back down to a second, so a little bit of overspeed, a little bit of slipstream provided by the Acura number 528 of our man Paul Slavonic, running P2 in GTD AM. But the gap now comes down for the first time after the final pit stops with just 10 minutes to go. Wilson trying to hustle the BMW of Hyperion Racing in the number 4. He is trying to catch the number 07 of Sector 5's Nathan Dowd, who could make it a different winner this season. But the way that we have seen with the pace of Brandon Wilson in this race so far, Chris Murphy, Brandon Wilson has been the tour de force. He put it on pole. He's not got the fastest lap, but he is gunning for that race victory as he's trying to get through on De Oliveira, and then there's Bennett just in front. And now that's going to open up a little bit of breathing space for Nathan Dowd at the front end of the field.
Well, as we've seen so many times this season in this endurance class with the GTPs out here in front, the lead car actually is at the bigger disadvantage when they come up against lap traffic, and we saw that with Dowd. He came up on the back of Slavonic. It just caught him at the wrong spot right there in the corner, was not able to get past him very quickly. Wilson, and then once Dowd got clears Slavonic, Wilson just caught him right on the straight, and that was a half a second difference right there, just lapping that one car. And you can see it again right there where Dowd came up on those two lap cars down into turn number 1 at the wrong time again, and Wilson's able to close the gap back down. I think if we could see these guys just race head to head, I think the pace is going to be pretty close to the same. But Dowd just getting caught. It's a bad timing on the lap traffic right there. But Wilson now about 9/10 of a second back. We are going to have ourselves a battle here for the last 8.5 minutes of this race, Alex.
Yes, indeed, Chris. So, just to give you a rundown on some of the retirements, we've had Jordan Martin on lap 17 in the number 98 Hyperion BMW GTP. Jimbo Pfeiffer in the number 22 Acura Sector 5 Black Entry has retired, is still running at the moment. Matt Brewer, after that big smash on lap 18, the number 14 Hyperion racing car is out of the LMP2 classification and will be classified 6th. Ross Booth did not take the start. Jason Kinger is out of GTD after 23 laps after the incident that we saw just a little while ago, I think, between him and Nathan Dowd. Mark Kudrowski has retired from the race, it looks like, on lap 31 in the GTD AM side of things. Sheldon Rosenbaum and Ross Booth did not take the start, but David Fernandez has a slight off track in the number 09 Porsche 992 GT3 as Wilson has got clear air between him and Dowd. We come down to this point. We are just under 7.5 minutes remaining here at the halfway point of the Autobahn Endurance Cup and round 6 of the Autobahn Sports Car Challenge. America's National Park of Speed has delivered on every single level here tonight from the start to what we have now. We have a mano-a-mano battle at the front end of the field, and Brandon Wilson is closing that gap. He was about the best part of a 10th quicker than Nathan Dowd, but Nathan Dowd can see a lot of Hyperion Racing blue and a BMW's front kidney grills in his rear view mirrors. And David Fernandez has been off track, as just per the race notes that have just come up on your screens. Live here on the JP Broadcasting Network. The sun is setting quickly. The headlights are ablaze on our leading GTPs, but Brandon Wilson is charging. He's closing that gap. It's under 7/10. A little bit of a kick up of gravel by Nathan Dowd as they head up into turn number 14. These laps are really flying by. They're running a mid 149s at the moment, so call that maybe 1 minute 50. So we are going to go on to lap number 46, 45 laps completed, and Wilson is just trying to conserve those tyres a little bit, maybe just give him that little bit more of a fuel window. He did put about 3 seconds more worth of fuel in his car, so Nathan Dowd, if he is marginal on fuel, if we start to hear him lifting and coasting here, Chris, it could be game over for the 07 Sector 5 Cadillac leading the way.
Yeah, I think you called it earlier when he made his pit stop. He took the bare minimum. That's the only way he was going to make that 2-second gap up and get in front of Wilson right here. He's doing a pretty good job of keeping Wilson at bay. Back down to about half a second right now. So, you know, we've seen this all season long. This battle up front for the GTP, but it's been Wilson and Pelchat. But now it's Dowd and Pelchat. Dowd trying to get his first win of the season, and he is doing everything he can. He's driving for all he's got. He's got about 5 minutes left to go. Can he keep this up and keep Wilson behind him?
Yep, so at the moment with just 5 minutes remaining, Nathan Dowd leads in GTP. Walker Carroll has checked out. in LMP2. Robert Cast 5.7 seconds ahead of Carter Cunningham in the GTD class battle. Samuel de Oliveira 10 seconds up the road from Paul Slavonic in GTD AM, but Wilson is trying to close on the man in front, and there is Bradley Haley, I believe, in between the pair. That's going to compromise Wilson on the exit coming out of turn 11 as they're going to, well, turn 12 at Canada Corner. Gap goes up from 7 to 9/10, but still there is every possibility. I think we might just have, including this one, 3 laps remaining. Brandon Wilson looking for another victory here at Road America. He's had 2 wins. He won last time out 2 weeks ago at Long Beach, and with it took pole and fastest lap. There will be a point coming the way of Nathan Dowd, but he goes a little bit wide. But the gap has now started expanding. I think Nathan Dowd might have been doing a little bit of fuel conservation just to help the Cadillac have the ability to stretch the legs. And obviously that one flat plane crank V8 at an absolutely wonderful engine when it roars into life coming out of pit road. He's now got a lead of 1.3 seconds. As there's going to be more drama. It's the 007 car, Chris Sherburn, who was running P3 in GTD AM ahead of Brandon Wilson, who's managed to get through and get that gap down to just under 1.2 seconds. But Nathan Dowd has timed the overcut to perfection. He's done it not just once, he's done it twice to Brandon Wilson. He's driven it in on the in-lap like he stole it. And the Sector 5 provided by Haley Agency Caddy V Series GTP is just 3 minutes away from taking a first win of the series. So far it's been Pat Pelchat, winner at Daytona, winner at Motegi, winner at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, and for the other 2 rounds, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta at round 2 and Long Beach at round 5, it has been the tour de force from Hyperion Racing. That is Brandon Wilson, as we now ride on board with the 07 Sector 5 Haley Agency Cadillac V Series. And there is the 007 of Chris Sherburn coming out of the final corner. Nathan Dowd able to quickly pull the car to the right-hand side. It is now going to be the fact we will have 2 laps remaining. Lap 47 out of 49 in the books. Nathan Dowd has just over 8 miles to go.
Can he hang on right here? You know, he wants this win bad. You always want that first win of the season right here. Dowd doing everything he can. He's got 1.1 seconds. Unfortunately, he caught some lap traffic in an optimal position there for a change. Lap traffic's been kind of punishing him, but right there he was able to get through traffic quickly. About a lap and a half left to go here. 1.1 seconds. I don't think Wilson's going to catch him unless Dowd makes a mistake. This is going to come right down to the last corner.
Brandon Wilson taking as much availability of the track on the outskirts of going into turn 5 to carry the speed for the BMW MV8 hybrid through that particular corner, but it is not getting him any closer. It might be the fact that the tyres might be starting to drop off for the BMW. That's probably why that Nathan Dowd has been able to make it work to his favour. It was always going to be about that strategy, about whether if you put tyres on the second set of pit stops, you would have said, well, why did I do that? You could have done, you could have played it the other way, doing the tyres on the final stint. And if Brandon Wilson maybe have switched up his strategy a little bit, as Rich Minkler has just been off the side of the circuit, he's currently running P4 in GTD, and we are into the final 60 seconds, but we will get one more lap of this 4.048 mile 14 turn circuit just in Sheboygan County, off of smack bang in the middle of Green Bay and Milwaukee. It has been a race of strategy here at Road America, combined with a real nice turn of consistent speed. And there we see it, the white flag is out. Nathan Dowd goes on to the 49th and final lap of the race with a 1.6 second advantage over Brandon Wilson. Nathan Dowd has just got to bring it over the line to bring the Sector 5 Haley Agency Caddy to victory lane.
Yeah, I've been in this position myself before. You come up on that last lap, just everything you can to keep your cool. It's funny, I've been in real race cars a lot over the last 25 or 30 years of my life, and also into sim racing, and sometimes being out in front of the sim race like this is a little more nerve-wracking. So Nathan Dowd doing everything he can. He's doing a great job here. 1.7 seconds back to Wilson. About a half a lap left to go here for Dowd to take his first win of the season here in the Autobahn and Sportscar Challenge.
This is really going to help the team with regards to Sector 5 Haley Agency in terms of the Autobahn Teams Championship with presented by Haley Agency as Wilson on the flashers just saying ahead, okay, if it's a GT3 in front of him, I think he's probably just saying, just keep out of my way. But we have gone past 90 minutes. We're into the last 40% of the final lap of this race. And Nathan Dowd in the 07 Sector 5 Haley Agency Cadillac V-Series GTP car closes on Rich Minkler, flashes on the headlights, Minkler out the way, gets through at turn number 12 at Canada Corner. It's up the hill for the final time through Thunder Valley, through Bill Mitchell Bend, and it is going to be a third different race winner overall in round 6 of season 15 of the Autobahn Sports Car Challenge, because we wait, it is not going to be a Porsche, it is not going to be a BMW, it is going to be the Cadillac of Nathan Dowd that wins round 6 going into the holiday season.
What a fantastic last lap. I think we saw Wilson there flashing the lights. I think he was just acknowledging that Dowd had him covered right there. Wilson giving him a little congratulations. They're about halfway through the end of the race, but Nathan Dowd with a great drive. Brandon Wilson right there behind him. His strategy really played out there for Sector 5. Congratulations to Nathan on a great win here at Road America.
Matthew Denise has already crossed the line. Pat Palchat will round out your top 3 in GTP, and it is a win for Robert Cast in GTD. There's been a development in GTD, and there was a black flag for Paul Slavonic in the Acura, and Mo Islam is going to hang on at the moment. Walker Carroll has taken the win for Fury Simsport, but can Composite Performances hang on? Mo Islam is going to come out of the final corner. It's going to be a run to the line between him and Rob Tinsey from Satellite Racing, but Mo Islam, the man from Canada, is going to take another P2 here at Road America. And more to the point, Samuel de Oliveira in the number 522 is going to bring Mustang and Detroit power for the Blue Oval across the line here in the GTD AM category. And more to the point, Fernandez de Oliveira has not had a win this season. The Portuguese driver, muito parabéns, Samuel de Oliveira, who is going to win in GTD AM. And more to the point, it is going to be a Portuguese one too, because of the black flag for Paul Slavonic. David Fernandez is going to pick up P2 in the class and is about 17.7 seconds behind. So again, it's a Portuguese 1-2. Ford winning from Porsche with Acura in the hands of Paul Slavonic, and the 528. A late black flag meant that he had to serve a pit lane penalty, but Slavonic will cross the line very, very shortly. But, well, what can you say as the light fades, sunset in full effect here at America's National Park of Speed, Road America. But we're going to see this moment here. This is Nathan Dowd getting through on our eventual GTD class winner, Robert Cast, who's done a stellar job. New paint job, I think it's worked for him. And it means that for the man in the number 42, it puts him, that is going to be his 4th race win of the season. So Robert Cast is going to get double bubble on this one, because he took pole position and he did take the fastest lap as well. So Robert Cast, he takes the win in GTD as well. But before we start our post-race interview show, it looks like everyone has now crossed the line, with Paul Slavonic crossing the stripe on the Road America straightaway. Let's take you through the respective class results. Nathan Dowd takes the win in GTP by just 1.9 seconds. The overcut worked for the man from Sector 5 Haley Agency and becomes our third overall race winner in GTP this season, ahead of Brandon Wilson, who does a good job to bring it home in P2. Pat Pelchat in 3rd, Dominic Dernberg in P4, Harrison Higgins, Jimbo Pfeiffer finishing a lap down, and Jordan Martin, unfortunately, after that big incident on lap 17, retired with 32 laps remaining. LMP2, it's a win for Fury Simsport. Walker Carroll winning by 26.3 seconds, and another great run by Canada's Mo Islam, who takes P2 for composite performances. Robert Tinsley was in the battle for P2. The man from Satellite Racing, supported by Muradness, rounds out the top three ahead of the man who's still going to be the series leader, Kadin Richardson, after this. Mathieu Denise rounds out the top five, and unfortunately, Matt Brewer, after that hard hit in the barriers off of turn 11, ends up retiring on lap number 18. Fury Simsport again victorious in the GTD classification as Robert Cast takes the win ahead of composite performances Mustang of Carter Cunningham, rounding out the top two in the division, with Bradley Haley bringing Detroit Muscle to a 2-3 finish for Sector 5 Haley Agency, and the number 428 Brian Bennett making his GTD debut, having been promoted to the class, rounds out your top four. Jason Kinger retires on lap 23 in the Solpec Precision Porsche after an unfortunate incident, with Ross Booth not starting the race itself. Finally, Samuel de Oliveira leads home a Portuguese 1-2 after 44 laps of racing. 17.2 seconds was the winning margin for the man in the 522 Mustang, ahead of his countryman in the 09 Porsche. Paul Slavonic with a lastminute.com black flag ends up finishing P3 ahead of Rich Minkler in the 908 Porsche. Dale Green, Chris Sherburn and Mark Kudrowski, the latter finishing his race on lap 31 with Sheldon Rosenbaum, unfortunately not taking to the start. What a race we've had, and now it's time for the Autobahn Sports Car Challenge Round 6 and Autobahn Endurance Cup Round 2 post-race interview show. And the first person we're going to bring in is our overall race winner for Sector 5 Haley Agency. It's the 07 Cadillac, Nathan Dowd. What a job that was. You undercut that perfectly. The in laps must have been absolutely mighty to get the job done on Brandon Wilson after 49 laps.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't know if I took less fuel than him, or I mean, I saw my pit stop was like 3 seconds shorter. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. We were
I was
kind
kind
of
of
wondering.
surprised. Yes, I.
Yeah, I was going to say, how marginal were you on fuel at the end of the race?
I mean, it was close, but I mean, it wasn't like closer than I expected. I ran out after like turn 2 after taking the checkered flag, so it wasn't like I wasn't having to save or anything. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the Cadillac was a little better on fuel here for some reason. I'm not really sure what happened there because I gained a bunch on the first pit stop and the second. But I mean, we'll take it. I think I think he had the pace on me, but I was struggling there to once I had him there after the last stop. I was really struggling on the rear tires. The Cadillac really kind of starts to struggle there once the rears get a little worn and hot, and I was really feeling it. He was pushing me, so but I think I got a couple breaks of traffic and the dirty air here. I think once he gets within about a second, it starts to affect him quite a bit. With all the high speed too, so.
I think there was also a lot of gravel being thrown onto the track as well, Nathan, which didn't help matters much for everybody, because it sort of doesn't help. You go through the gravel, which has always got that dust, and it always dirties up the tyres, but still, you become our third different winner of the series. So we've now had Porsche, BMW, and now good old Cadillac rules the roost on home soil here at Road America. You must be absolutely ecstatic with that W.
Yeah, this is a Brandon and Pat have been running away with it this year. They're really good. So I mean, that was a shame. I don't see what happened to Pat there really, but I think he would have been right there if not ahead of us at the end as fast as he is too. So,
Yeah,
but
he
yeah,
did.
this is a tough series with those guys, and anytime I can be close to them or even beat them, that's something to feel pretty good about.
Yeah, well, we did have, Pat Pelchat. Pat did have an incident with Samuel in GTD Yam earlier on. He tried going around the outside and the two made contact, and Pat ended up off the circuit. So, but yeah, nevertheless, Nathan, you 100% earned that. I think maybe that Brandon's tyres might have been dropping a little bit because obviously with the first stop, I think you guys, did you take tyres on the first stop and then just fuel on the second one?
Yep, that's what I did. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I think you
congratulations.
have to do that. I think the cold tires are just too much for only, what is that, like 10 laps at the end.
Well, Nathan, nevertheless, congratulations on becoming our third different race winner overall and in GTP this season. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just Carter for running the league, you guys, broadcasting. Team Sector 5. Always a lot of fun to run these with. Yeah, just the rest of the guys in the series make it a lot of fun to run with. I know I guess I had an incident there with Jason. I don't think he's too happy with me. It was a tight. I always hate being involved in something like that when it's kind of marginal. So I mean, we'll see what comes out of that. But yeah, I mean, just a great series to run in. So thanks to Carter for putting all this on.
Brilliant, Nathan. Thank you so much. Wishing you happy holidays and a good early part of 2026. We'll see you for round 7 at the Algarve at Portimao on January 5th. Well done tonight.
Yep, thank you.
So a big thank you there to Nathan Dowd, our winner in GTP. Let's bring in our LMP2 class winner, because this man ruled the roost. He started from pole position. I think also he got the fastest lap. Let's bring this man in. Walker Carroll. What a run there, my friend. Winner in LMP2 here at Road America for Fury Simsport. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Bit of a tough one out there. It really got elbows out in the early stages, because we had you, we had Robert, we had Matt, we had Kadin, we had Mo, all sort of like chomping at the bit, and it was like the daggers were out for this round of the series so far.
Well, I figured it would be a draft train, so a lot of fuel saving, and I wasn't too worried when Brewer went past me, because I figured I'll just leapfrog them, and they all seem to be right behind us for a while.
Yeah, I mean, but then obviously after Robert, Mo, I think Matt had a big moment coming out of turn 11, and the number 14 was a far shadow of his former self. I mean, basically, like the front wheels had just been literally ripped from the chassis. But I mean, it could have been, if things hadn't gone your way completely, it would have been a really big fight towards the end of the race, wouldn't it?
Maybe. I'm not sure if we would have come back at it. I don't know with Brewer, he was seemed pretty fast, but once I saw him out, I was able to relax a bit. It felt like with the traffic gap that I got initially.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not sure what would happen with Brewer towards the end of the race, though.
But still, you've put in a lot of seat time getting ready for this round of the championship, and that clearly showed with the winning margin over Mo Islam, who's equalled his best result of the series by over 26 seconds. You must be absolutely on cloud 9 at the moment, Walker.
I'm very happy with the result from the amount of time I put in. I put in probably a couple of 3 or 4 hours of track time on this thing, and it's my favorite track, so.
Well, congratulations on the win here in LMP2, and that's your best result of the series so far. You've had 2/3, a second, and now the top step of the rostrum heading to victory lane. Before we let you go, Walker, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
My wife, for allowing me to stay up later tonight. It's now 11:45, so I'm going back down for that.
Well, congratulations, Walker. Wishing you a happy holiday season, and we look forward to seeing you when the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge returns at Portimao on the 5th of January. Well done tonight.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Big thank you there to Walker Carroll. Now we go and turn our attention to our GTD class winner. This man switched cars, and it has, for want of a better terminology, here at Road America, new livery. It has come up trumps. Let's bring in Robert Cast. Robert, what a race, buddy. You had Carter hunting you down early. You got round for the race lead, but you made the strategy work. The new livery showing on the car, and also it gave you a bit of lady luck round here at Road America as well, eh?
Oh yeah, I was out there having fun again. I was trying to keep the other guys in the fight early on, but Carter showed he had some pace on the cold tires out the gate, and I think I was being a little too nice, so I let him go, and we were just hanging out for a bit. And he had a good run in the first stint. I short fueled it so I can get out and try to get some lightweight runs on the tires, and then see what I can do, and it paid off. It worked out pretty well.
But still, when you think about it, Robert, this is now your 4th win of the series. You weren't with us at Daytona. You joined us at Road Atlanta, took the win there, then did 3 on the bounce. You won at Road Atlanta, then at Motegi, then Mosport, picked up a P3 last time out at Long Beach, but 4 wins out of 5 races so far. That ain't half bad, is it?
Nah, I'm hoping to get some more. Long Beach, didn't go my way. I threw a setup change that worked really well for quality, but it did not work for the race set, so it was just a silly situation. I almost did the same thing tonight, but I left it alone and sent it, and she held up pretty good.
Well, Robert, congratulations on the win, getting yourself to victory lane here for round 6 of the Autobahn Sports Car Challenge, and obviously that gives you a big haul of points in terms of the Endurance Cup, which has now officially hit the halfway point. Before we let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, first off, I'll say thanks to Mark Kondrowski for getting the paint finished up for us, so I can run with the livery tonight. And then shout out to the team, GT Dynamics. We're just small, starting out, just doing our thing, having fun. And then as always, to Carter and Dom and Caden and Mo and all those guys, Composite, good guys, fun guys to hang out with, and for you guys as well. Shout out to you guys for handling the broadcast and staying up late and watching us go in circles.
We made sure we got the GTD start this time. You'll be happy to know.
All right.
So, but Robert, wishing you a very happy holiday season, and look forward to seeing you for round 7 as the Autobahn Sports Car Challenge will resume in the new year at Portimao on January 5th. Well done tonight on the victory.
All right, thanks, gentlemen. You guys take it easy.
Big thank you there to Robert Carstar, GTD class winner. I think we've got time for one more winner's interview. I would like to bring everybody in, but we don't always have the time for that. We're going to bring in the man who takes the win in GTD AM, and it is someone who's been through the trenches but has come out smelling of roses here tonight. Muito parabéns, Samuel de Oliveira. Well done tonight. Congratulations. You pick up the win here in GTDM at Road America. How are you feeling?
Oh my goodness, that was a race and a half. Wow, that was and also very well said. That was very nice. Very nice surprise on the Muito parabéns.
Yeah, de nada. I've got friends in Portugal and Brazil anyway, so and I've been to Portimao quite a few times anyway, to the
Oh, that's awesome.
the Autodromo as well. I mean, I'm heading over there in April next year anyway for one of my IRL commentary side of things. But that was a bit of a tough one though. I mean, we saw the earlier incident. I mean, I know that Pat Pelchat went around the outside. You tried to take the racing line early. It was a difficult one. But it's kind of that thing, isn't it? When you're having quicker traffic come up to try and get around you, it's a difficult thing as a GTD driver to try and hold station, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it was a pretty difficult line to take. The normal line on that turn is already difficult enough for a GT car. Sometimes, depending on how much fuel you have and everything else, it just you have to lift sometimes because it's just such a hard turn to make right. And I feel like most GTP drivers there try to take the inside as early as possible, but when the GTP driver is taking the outside there, it's really hard to maintain an inside line, especially because I had Paul right behind me. I mean, it was difficult. It was really unfortunate, and I mean, of course I don't want to hit anyone. I mean, last week I got taken out at Long Beach for a clipping incident like that, and now, fortunately it didn't straight up end his race, but it was really unfortunate. I felt like it was a pretty difficult situation to manage. I know he was getting quite ahead of me by that point, but that still doesn't reduce the difficulty of maintaining the inside line there because it was so difficult. But yeah, it was an unfortunate incident. Probably the only moment on the race that that was difficult to digest.
Well, you'll be happy to know, Samuel, that David picked up P2, so it's a double bubble for Portugal this evening.
Yes, it
Well,
is. Yes, it
or
is.
this morning actually, because we're because based on where you and David are, it's the same time because we're on the same time zone as well, which is quite interesting. But nevertheless, I mean, even though we know that the Mustang is not the most aerodynamically efficient GTD car, let's be completely truthful. It looks like a brick, but still,
It
even
is a
with that
brick.
damage on the front end, it didn't really stop the speed of that car and how fast it was.
No, I mean I feel like I spent the whole weekend working on the setup for this car. I worked on a setup from Fuji and then just kind of like worked my way through it, and I feel like just in terms of pure raw speed, the exit speeds, the car was just absolutely fantastic. I think this is the best the car has felt the entire season for me. I did lose a few kilometers per hour, or more like 1-2 miles per hour on straights after that contact with Pat, and I was struggling to keep up with Paul. And then after the first set of pit stops, Paul also had a contact with Pat, and he ended up getting damage that made his car even slower than mine. Because
Yeah,
otherwise we were just basically keeping like back and forth, just fighting for the first position, which was a fantastic race. I think Paul ran an amazing race. I was struggling a lot to stay away from him. Then when he was ahead of me, I was struggling a lot to keep up with him. So yeah, that was a great fight for first place here.
yeah. Paul actually ended up with a late black flag, but he also drove around with broken steering for an hour. So we have to say chapeau
Wow,
to Paul Slavonic. So
absolutely.
Paul, still to get a P3 after a black flag and driving around Road America, which is not the easy circuit with broken steering. But of course, after the Christmas and the New Year, we go to your home track, the
And
Autodromo Internacional do Algarve. I mean, you must be looking forward to that one to kickstart
it's the
2026
best,
with bang.
best track, the best track. Love Algarve. Always loved it. Been there, of course. Fantastic track. If I hope everybody enjoys it as much as I do. It's a fantastic track.
Well, Samuel de Oliveira, our GTD AM class winner, your first win of the series. Congratulations. Very happy, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you and the family. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Um, I'll just give a shout out. I feel like the GTD class this race was fantastic to race with. At least the encounters that I had, Brian, Bradley, David as well. I feel like everyone had a great race. So shout out to everyone on the GTD class. Shout out to everyone organizing this league. It's been great fun. It's my first year here. Shout out to you guys doing the broadcasting. I love watching the broadcast after the race, like on the next day. So yeah, it's been a great time. Hope everyone has a great holiday season. Happy New Year to everyone, and yeah, see you guys on the next one.
Brilliant. Well, that rounds out our post-race interview show before the holiday season. Great to hear from Samuel de Oliveira because Portugal is actually on the same time zone as the United Kingdom. So at the minute, it is just coming past 4:35 a.m. Here in the UK and also in Portugal. Chris, what a 90-minute encounter. Nathan Dowd becoming our third respective race winner as we take another look in slow-mo at the big hit that took out Matt Brewer, which was, in real life, that would have been a very, very big silent paddock that would have been around it after that. But the main thing is that Matt's going to think, well, I got it all wrong. He's got a time to sort of dust himself off and pick himself up now. But what a first part of the season we've had, from Daytona to Road Atlanta, Motegi to Mosport to Long Beach, and now to Qatar. The first 6 rounds of the Autobahn Sportscar Championship Challenge for 2025, 2026, and then, of course, marking the halfway point in the Autobahn Endurance Cup.
Yeah, it's a shame we have to wait another month. We've had such great racing going on here with the Autobahn Sports Car Challenge. I'm really looking forward to these races every time we get a chance. And it's going to be a month before we come back. It's going to be a whole new year before we get to see him go at it once again. Congratulations to Nathan Dowd on his first win of the season. Congratulations to Samuel as well. Just a pleasure. Just a pleasure working with these guys and working with you here, Alex. And really looking forward to our next time out.
Yeah, so on that note, thank you so much for everyone that has tuned here live on the JP Broadcasting Network for round 6 of season 15, the 2025-2026 Autobahn Sports Car Challenge, and also the 2025-2026 halfway point of the Autobahn Endurance Cup. Dowd, Carroll, Cast, and De Oliveira are respective class winners in GTP, LMP2, GTD, and GTDM. It's a 4-week break now before the Autobahn Sports Car Challenge comes kicking and screaming at full velocity with loud exhaust noises from the tailpipes in 2026, as on January 5th the battle resumes at the Algarve in Portugal as we return to the traditional 60-minute format as we look back at Nathan Dowd taking the win for Sector 5 Haley Agency, becoming our third overall different race winner this season. Porsche have been victorious, BMW have been victorious, and so has Cadillac now. What will happen after the holiday season? Well, you'll have to join us here on the JP Broadcasting Network to find out. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You've been in the company of Alex Goldschmidt and Chris Murphy. On behalf of myself and Chris and everyone here at JP Broadcasting, we wish you all, our Autobahn Sports Car Challenge fans, a very happy holidays, a very, very happy new year, and we look forward to seeing you in 4 weeks' time as we come back for racing in 2026. Until 2026, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, like here at America's National Park of Speed, well, you better drive it like you stole it. We'll see you next time. See you in 2026. Goodbye for now.